The title of this video is Willie Lynch Wudja. Let me check the sound. I want to make sure you can hear me loud and clear. Yes. First of all, for those who don't know, the Willie Lynch letter is fake. I'm going to share 3 articles by Manu M. Pim. Peace, the fair artist. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming back. Willie Lynch letter is fake. Part 1. That's part 1 there. I'm going to share part 2. Part 2 right there. Now, the final part. Oh, final part is a PDF. Now, I'm going to start by this. There's a PhD who runs a website called EgyptandTheBible.com. I've shared the About page. Welcome back, Black Egyptian. Peace to you, Black Egyptian, and Mongezi. Hotep to you. This is the About page regarding Dr. Falk. David A. Falk is a specialist in ancient Egypt and the Bible. He received his PhD from the University of Liverpool in Egyptology. He wrote a dissertation entitled Ritual Processional Furniture, a Material and Religious Phenomenon in Egypt. So you notice that we are told which university he got his PhD from. So all you need to do, brothers and sisters, if you want to verify if he's really affiliated with that university, just copy the title of his dissertation and then do just like I will do. Any search engine. Boom. First link. What does it say? It's hosted on liverpool.ac.uk. And when we click on it, what does it say? University of Liverpool. All right. And here we do have indeed the dissertation by Falk David. All right. So it looks legit. Now I'm going to share a link to another page from Falk's website. entitled Best Ancient Egyptian Dictionaries. See? Now let's have a look. Posted on August 28, 2018 by David A. Falk in Resources. There it is. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. Right there, he says, and some dictionaries are woefully flawed or out of date as to the absolutely useless, as to be absolutely useless. Example, E.A. Wallis Budge, an Egyptian hieroglyphic dictionary, 1920. If you haven't heard it by now, Budge is outdated. He did the best he could at the time, but to use it today is probably not the best option, considering the amount of updated dictionaries available. And I've seen a few people using Budge, probably because most of his work is under the public domain, and we know a lot of people like the easy route. So, on that note, best dictionaries for learning Egyptian. More often, students will resort to resources including dictionaries that they find online. Example, Mark Weiger's Middle Egyptian Dictionary 2002-2018. These efforts, quote unquote efforts, are not really dictionaries, but word lists that have been extracted from someone else's work/database. For example, Weiger's dictionary was extracted from Luca Brigatti's Hario Word software. Paul Dixon's Dictionary of Middle Egyptian 2006 in turn depends largely upon Weiger's work. Neither Dixon, Weiger's, nor Brigatti have a publication record in Egyptological journals. And as far as I can tell, they have no credentials in the field, so their unvetted, low quality word lists are best avoided. What terrifies me is that I've seen these word lists used in so called scholarly works. Example, Petrovic 2016. Now, I'm sure you're aware that we have some people who use Vigors all the time. It's probably the first thing they go to. So here is my list of the best dictionaries for learning ancient Egyptian annotated, with my opinion as to each work's merits and problems. First on the list, Raymond A. Faulkner, A Concise Dictionary of Middle Egyptian. I'm not going to read it all. Second on the list, Adolf Hermann Grappol, or Grappov, I'm not sure if they pronounce it like a V. Wörterbuch der ägyptischen Sprache. The Wörterbuch, as it is known by, is the big standard reference dictionary of Egyptology. It comes in 12 volumes and is highly respected as the dictionary in the Egyptological community. The advantage of it is that it is extensive. Now, the disadvantages of it are plentiful. It is written in German, which is an impediment for most native English speakers. All right. So, a highly respected dictionary is what I've used. regarding Isis being a virgin, and I have yet to hear anybody saying that it is wrong, inaccurate, or pseudo. I think they know better. And first on his list, the Egyptologist, the PhD, we have Faulkner's Dictionary. All right. Now I'm going to share the link. Willie Lynch, Wudja, Willie Lynch, Wudja's video entitled "Land of the Blacks, Egypt or Sudan?" Question mark. Boom, shared. We're going to listen now. Timestamp, minute 24, second 30. 24:30.
So this is coming from Ernest Alfred Wallace Budge, or E.A. Wallace Budge, um, book text called An Egyptian Reading Book for Beginners. This was published in 1896. So remember, I said the late 1800s and the early 1900s. So this falls within that time range. So this is from Budge's book where he defines or translates these words as I claimed it to be. So we have Nehes here, and this is the toponym, Nes. Okay, so this is the place name, Nehes. And you see the glyphs here, 1, 2, 3, 4 glyphs. There's a composite glyph there of a throw sticks and the triple hill, but we'll count those as 4 glyphs. Um, this is the word Nehes. And you see that Budge translates it as Negro land, Negro land. And we know that the word Negro means black. Okay, it is the Spanish word or the Romance word for black. Negro, Negro, Negro. All right, both Spanish and French. Um, then we have, so this is, so we would say this as black land. All right, now this is not Egypt. This is the territory south of Egypt.
Now, from the get-go, he's using some outdated work. There it is. Like Egyptian wrote the same thing. He was using all outdated pseudo-European definition of Nehes to make his argument. Yes, yes. And I've listened until he opened up the line. I didn't listen to the rest. I mean, it's very difficult to listen to this long-winded pseudo. So we have Negro land, and from an outdated translation, Negro land, then he goes to black. For those who don't know, there's a video that's about 3 hours long where the dude will not accept the updated translation of Kem as black because of he and his homie's book. But then he goes from Negro to black from some outdated work. From the get go, from the beginning, the dude is dead wrong. His argument from the get go is dead wrong. Outdated uh, source. Raymond O. Faulkner, A Concise Dictionary of Middle Egyptian, page 137. That's the dictionary that's on top of the list of the PhD that I showed you about earlier. What does it say for Nehisi? Nubian. It doesn't say Negro. No mention of black. Out in his Egyptian grammar, page 575. Nehisi, Nubian. No mention of black. Clodopsoma, hieroglyphic Egyptian, page 270. Nehisi or Nehesi, Nubian. No mention of black. Let's continue with the Willie Lynch pseudo, but I will try to go through the comments so I don't find myself with like 100 comments that I have to go through. Pharaohtis wrote law. Black Egyptian wrote. He was using. Oh no, I've. Okay, the comment was put twice. So Mongezi wrote, watch that video, but could not watch all of it for obvious reasons. Sometimes I think he intentionally deceives people to make a point. To make a point, I mean, we heard a dude for 3 hours, man, claiming that he would demonstrate that Chem. Now, for him, Chem doesn't mean black after a name, and it's a title. For 3 hours, I don't know if I'm, maybe some of you are not aware. Maybe some of you are not aware. So I'm going to share a video with a commentary. Now I can understand, however, for the neophytes, people who are not familiar with the Meta Nature. I mean, if somebody talks about Chinese, if two people engage about Chinese, it's far from being my lane, so I can just only listen. How would I know which one is correct? Until I look into it. Most people will not look into the Meta Nature. Where is it? Okay, where is it? I know it's should be near the transformer one. Where's the transformer? Come on, I don't see it. Where's the transformer thumbnail? Oh, there it is. Okay, Rich and Tilly preaching. There we go. This video I'm going to share is entitled Rich and Tilly Preaching, the long-winded tactic of pseudos. If you don't know that Wudja guy, this video will enlighten you. He's pseudo. He's straight up pseudo. He has some knowledge of the Meta chat. Yes, it's true. But he's pseudo. Straight up pseudo. And besides, one of his closest ally is that same guy who said that
Allah, and this is where I would disagree with Brother Shaka, is actually in the Egyptian text.
Yes. That guy who want to teach people about Kemet, that's who's rolling with. His partner is pseudo as well. They wrote a book together, and in order to defend their book, they go all the way, all over the place. and ask him what his stance is about Allah is in the Egyptian text, he will buck dance. He will buck dance. He will call the conscious community a circus community. He will make the statement when he's addressing Saneda's channel, but here he's cool with a guy that says that Allah is in the Egyptian text. What else did he say?
The god Allah is an indigenous African god.
Pseudo. The god Allah is an indigenous African god. That's pseudo.
These Hebrews, saying come from and who they are specifically, because based upon my research, these are African people.
Ask Willie Lynch Wudja what he thinks about that statement. Hebrews are African people. What else?
This is how we know that the Hebrews. First of all, you got to understand that Hebrew is an African language.
Hebrew is an African language. Pseudo. Ask Willie Lynch Wudja what his stance is. Ask him, is that pseudo? Those guys doing friendship scholarship, man.
Then when you do a linguistic analysis, you understand that the Hebrew language is cognate with the Yoruba language.
Pseudo. The Hebrew language is cognate with the Yoruba language. Ask Willie Lynch Wudja, who want to kick knowledge, if that's pseudo or not. He would defend those statements. Would he? Or would he not? Ask him. Do the test.
Fly in English is the same word, except we don't have the prefix sound in there in the word fly. And so the word, the phoneme R is now L in English, and the P sound is F, in English. It's just simply the word. It's a very old word. It's all in Indo-European. Is in every African language.
Fly. The English word fly derives from the Medunecher Keper or Keper. Ask Willie Lynch Wudja what he thinks about that statement. He would defend it. That's friendship scholarship. Some people have made some videos showing that Wudja plagiarized. Some people have made videos to show that Sahimo Fake, the guy who talks about fly, has plagiarized several books in several different languages, multilingual plagiarism. But those guys are going to talk about character, though. They're going to talk about ma'at, though. So you can see there are pseudos. It's a bunch of pseudos. He said the Egyptian name for area where Komombo is Nebet. Okay, yeah, I heard that. Meaning place of gold, and also said many times that nobody has disputed Nubia meaning Negro. A clear sign he knows better. Well, it was funny when saying nobody's, but we're going to hear him talk about nobody has disputed that. Jafar wrote Shaka. Wudja agrees with Chief X now. According to Chief X, I mean, that same video you're referring to, he played an excerpt of when we talked, and he commented that he kind of destroyed me or whatever. I mean, it's just amusing. It's just amusing. And Mgenzi wrote that Tanehisi meaning Negro / black. Okay, let's continue. Let's listen to Willie Lynch Wudja.
Modern day Sudan. All right. Always keep that in mind in this discussion. Okay. These are experts. E.A. Wallace Budge was an expert, an Egyptologist, a philologist. He was the curator of the British Museum.
How strange. That video that I shared reaching to the preaching. When we quote scholars, PhDs, experts, specialists, he says that's a logical fallacy of appealing to authority and deferring to authority. But when it suits him, these are, and notice he said these are experts. And then he talks about Budge. So he quotes an outdated work. He quotes the work of some outdated, he quotes the outdated work of one scholar, and he says, these are experts. It's funny. Multiplication, like Jesus Christ. Multiplication. Philologist, curator of the museum. Now it suits him, he's no longer appealing to authority. How strange. Now, Willie Lynch Wudja was trying to put doubt on the accuracy of dictionaries. I think so. So you go with something just because it's in the dictionary. Those guys came up with some talking points that dates back over a decade, when the former linguist who says that Allah is an indigenous African god. I forgot to. To me, it's not surprising if somebody is pseudo when this is how he used to get down.
Ridiculous Asar Imhotep. First of all, let's get to know Asar Imhotep. Listen for yourself.
Did you go through any kind of hazing process at all?
No, I pledged. Yes.
Okay, so you went through a hazing process.
No, I pledged. There's a difference.
Okay, so as you went through the hazing process, did they slap you on the ass with a paddle?
Yes, they did.
Oh, okay. So you bent over, you grabbed your ankles, and that paddle was smacking that ass.
Basically.
Okay.
Just so you know, on top of being pseudo, they have an alternative lifestyle. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was initiated or did some type of pledging with that former linguist and he spanked them in the booty. It's going to be difficult for them to say, well, he's pseudo because he has some secret. And besides, the spanking of the booty, like we have documented, they get some objects inserted in the anus, they get put into stress positions. I mean, it's real deep. So if some other people were initiated, it's not surprising they don't really want to say pseudo because they might be scared that some secrets will be revealed about their activities. But let's continue.
And he is a person who wrote a plethora of books.
All right, he wrote a plethora of books, so writing plenty of books, I guess that makes the person correct now.
Or in early Egyptology that a lot of people are indebted to. Okay, it's coming from that guy. Okay, as a matter of fact, let me do this. Well, I'll do that a little later. So that's Nehes as the place name. Next, we have Nehes as a word referring to people. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 glyphs within this group of sesh or the glyphs. We have 6, and they spell out the word Nehes as well. All right, he translates this word as Negroes. Now we know the word Negroes is plural for Negro, and it means blacks.
Now, Willie Lynch Wudja is deep because he made a breakdown, not from Mother Nature to English, but from the English singular to the English plural. He has informed us that Negroes, or he has reminded us He's put an emphasis on the fact that Negroes is the plural of Negro. He's so deep, man. He he's so deep. So Burge translated this word Nehes as Negroes on his outdated work. From the get-go, his premise is wrong. Poor methodology. Birds of a feather flock together. Poor, poor methodology. And from Negroes, then he says black. Let's continue.
Plural. Negro meaning black. Negroes will be plural. All right. For blacks. So here we have black land, and here we have blacks, as in black people.
Now, that's pseudo. He said, here we have black land. Does he say black land? It says Negro land. Then it says, then we have blacks. He says Negroes. Outdated work. Going from one word to another. Just to make a premise. Just to try to save their book that is whack. I'm sorry to say this whack. Their book goes against the majority of Egyptologists in the world. Doesn't hold weight.
So one's talking about the place and one's talking about the people. Okay. Now, mind you, this was published in 1896. There was no dispute of this. And there's still no dispute of this.
1896. There was no dispute and there's still no dispute. People don't spend the time disputing something that's outdated. They update the scholarship.
Now, here's where I come in and make my argument.
Yeah.
That I showed you on for years that I've been talking about this term Nubia and Nubian. So what has happened since the time of Budge, since the late 1800s and early 1900s, in everywhere in those Egyptological works from the late 1800s, early 1900s, everywhere where you see the word Negro and Negroes, in modern scholarship, they just changed the word Negro and Negroes for the word Nubian. So this is now stylized as Nubia. Okay, so instead of saying Negro land, this set of glyphs for Nehes is translated as Nubia.
I don't have a problem with that. We've seen that from 3 different books. Because they figured that the Nehesi people are in the area or region that we call Nubia.
This set of glyphs here, Nehes, referring to people, is now translated as Nubians. So all they did was swap words, the form of the word. Okay, that's it. And that creates a problem, but that's a separate discussion. So I don't really want to have that discussion right now because I've had that before, but we could talk about that another time. That's going to lead us down a different pathway. So just keep in mind that Nehes as a place name is called Blackland. Nehes referring to people.
It's called Blackland. He's the one who puts that out there. He's the one who puts Blackland out there, trying to save his book. Oh, yeah, yeah. 1 second.
are called blacks. So we have the blacks right here, and we have the black land.
We don't have the blacks here. He's putting the black here for a reason. However, amazingly, the term Kem spent 3 hours with us, Smash Rockwell and I, Jonathan Owens and I, denying that Kem means black. And that's how most Egyptologists in the world translate Kem as. Yeah. Let's continue.
Black land and blacks. Okay, so just remember that. And remember what we're dealing with. We're talking about this area here, south of Egypt, Sudan. So now let's just focus on consistency. So this is from the 1896, what I just showed you. That's from 1896. So around about the same time, remember I said late 1800s, early 1900s. We're all in the same time range. Around the same time, there are other books. This is a book entitled Archaeologia.
He says there are other books. He's showing one other book.
Or Archaeologia, or miscellaneous tracts relating to antiquity. This particular volume is 52, volume number 2. Excuse me, volume 52, issue 2. And I believe that's backwards. I believe it's issue number 52, volume 2. So, just in case you need to look at it. As a matter of fact, I can post it on the screen. This is coming from page 419. And so the relevant information is in the footnote. Here, footnote E. And I'll just read it. It says the country of Wawa, which is what these glyphs spell out, Wawa, was situated in Ethiopia to the east of the modern town of Korosko. It is mentioned in the inscription of Una, line 16, where it is described as a black land.
You see that? Once again, he says black land. What does he say? He says Negro land. Strange. Besides, the second source he's using, which appears to be outdated, says that Wawa, which is most likely Wawat, was situated in Ethiopia. Seems outdated.
Where it has Negro. You see Negro there again? So we know Negro is black. So it's described
we know
as
Negro is black.
Negro land or black land.
But Kem, though, is not black, though. Kem is not black, however.
And then it gives the glyphs as it is found in the inscription of Una. And I'm going to show you that inscription in a second. So here we see Wawat Nehes. That's what these glyphs are. Wawat Nehes. All right. And then it goes on to say, in the list of 10 Hathors printed by Bruce, in a dictionary, geographical dictionary, whatever, page 1367, after Hathor Lady of Aneb, we have Hathor Lady of Kakau. All right. So that's the whole footnote. I just wanted to read the whole footnote. But the pertinent information is the fact that Wawa, as mentioned in this particular text, that this is a footnote of, is referring to Wawat, which is a black land.
Black land again. It's going to do that all through. But Kem doesn't mean black, though.
A place in the territory being called the black land.
Negro land, but it's okay.
All right.
Because of some outdated translation.
So mind you, none of this to this very day is disputed.
Wow. The great argument. None of this is disputed. I mean, do you take time disputing something that was said 150 years ago when the scholarship has greatly improved? But that's his argument. He's trying to save his book. With the main claim that Kemet means riparian land or riparian country, and they were inspired by Mboli, who is not a linguist and has plenty of flaws in his books. in his book. Sorry.
Nobody's doing YouTube videos. Nobody's going live every day, twice a day, 4 and 5 times a week. No one's doing papers. No one's trying to set up, debates about this.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I guess we can do debates with the authors of these books who died like over 100 years ago. Now I'm not sure about this author, but it's going to be difficult to have a debate with Wallace Budge. Uh, do you think, brothers and sisters, it would be easy to have a debate with E.A. Wallace Budge? But he's trying to make it seem like his source, his data, his source is so accurate, so great, almost infallible. Nobody's disputing his source. Is disputing his data. Nobody's trying to debate what is Budge. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, nobody's trying to debate Mickey Mouse either.
Nothing. But right here in our face, we have a location and we have a people that's related to this whole blackness.
Once again, blackness. But not for Kim though.
But we didn't gravitate towards that. We didn't focus on that. Okay? That which is obvious. We are focused on Egypt. People have been focused on Egypt and have been trying to make Egypt what this is. So now keep following me on this logic now. Okay. So now just to kind of give some filler. Remember, this is coming from line 16 of the inscription of Una. So let me just show you how that looks. And it's actually right here. So we have line 16. This is number 16. And these are the glyphs for it. So we have what you saw on that page. So we have Wawat Nehes. All right. Now, as I pointed out last night, without getting into a Sesh Metametric language class, what I want to point out though are these 6 glyphs: the water ripple, the twisted flax, the folded cloth, and we have 3 identical squatting figures with a feather on the head and a curved beard. Okay, they call it a royal beard, beard of divinity, etc., etc. All right, so look.
They call it royal beard, beard of divinity. And we have a feather. What kind of feather could it be? But nobody's going to gear towards that direction. You know, we have some similar word that has to do with praying, but nobody's going to gear towards that direction. But it's okay. It was just in passing.
Look at this set of glyphs. You even if you don't know what they transliterate to or what have you, but just to let you know, it transliterates to Nehes. All right, but these glyphs. So you see them 4 times. You see a group here, group number 1, group number 2, group number 3, and group number 4. At least on this page, we see them 4 times. All right, and what this is showing is that in this text, at this portion of the text, is talking about locations, and it's identifying these 4 places within the overall larger region. Okay, so in other words, this place here, Jam, is considered Nehes. We have another place here.
So Jam is considered Nehes. It's not talking about Nehes or Nehesu of Jam. No, Jam. Okay, let's listen up.
Imam, or Yam, as some people you may see it spelled or said Yam or Yamam. This is also Nehes. Then you have Wawat is also Nehes.
Wawat is also Nehes. Wawat is also Nehes. He's the guy giving Medunecha classes.
And then you have Kau is also Nehes. So Wawat, so we have Jam, Imam, Wawat, and Kau, all considered within a territory being called Black Land.
Black land. black land. But that's the same guy who's gonna go out of his way to agree that Kem means black, and the root word Kemet, like most Egyptologists in the world say. But now he's trying to save his book.
or black people. So if this term, now let's go back to the budge, and we're going to look at this exact term here to have the arrow here. These are referring to the people as blacks.
These are referring to the people. The Hes doesn't mean black. From the get-go, his argument is wrong.
What you see on the screen is Negroes, and we know Negroes is blacks, right? So this is saying Jam, blacks. Imam, blacks. Wawat, blacks. Kau,
See the switch he made? You see the switch?
blacks. All right.
We go from Nehes to the outdated translation Negroes to black. Wow.
So, mind you, again, this has been published since the late 1800s. Okay? This hasn't been disputed. There's no debates set up around any of this stuff.
And once again, he's repeating himself, trying to put emphasis on the fact that this is not disputed. Like people are gonna waste their time disputing something that everybody in the mama know is outdated. Just some people from the so-called conscious community who feel like, Budge is like top notch. They feel like Budge is top notch. You ask them about Egyptologists, they'll tell you Budge, and then that's about it. That's about it. Just like you ask them about the linguist, they're going to give you the name of some cultural theorists, some software developers.
There's no arguments. You don't see people's YouTube live streams with titles in it trying to debate this stuff here. Okay. And I'm gonna keep driving that point home because this is uncontested. All right. And blatant and in our face. But we ignore it.
It's like me saying, oh, I don't see any videos, debating in favor of Galileo. That's done and over with. You've heard about 3/5 of a human being? It was law at one point, wasn't it? You've heard about slavery? It was law at one point. It's been abolished. It's no longer law. It's gonna make videos or try to go to the Supreme Court to say, I want to deal with the 3/5 of a human being in 2022.
Instead, we want to focus on Egypt. And we want to make Egypt out to be this, as blatant as this stuff.
You see, he doesn't want to say it outright. He doesn't want to say it outright. He doesn't want to say we want to make Egypt black. He's saying we want to make Egypt this, making the separation, the distinction.
All right. So let's just move forward a bit. Now, let's go back to this map here. Now I have a question. So I'm gonna turn my attention to the chat. So again, shout out to the chat, whoever's tuned in. If I miss shouting you out earlier, that's because you weren't here yet. So anyway, I'm gonna ask a question to the chat. What is the Arabic name of Sudan? All right, now, like I said, I know there's a slight delay and lag. All right. But I'm gonna ask. I want to know the answer from one of you guys. What is the name of Sudan? What is the country Sudan? What is it called natively, or at least presently now, in the Arabic language? What is Sudan named for? Okay, Kinesis says, shout out to Kinesis, El Sudan, something like that. That's true. Yep. There's only one other word prior before that. But let me share. Let me look it up. Let me pull it up. Let's do this together. Let's do this together. Yep. Let us do this together. Let us do it together. I'm gonna share my screen because I want you all to follow along with this. So I'm gonna share my screen a few times here. We're gonna do this together. Walk through this together. Give me a second. As y'all can see, I just don't like that awkward silence. So I'm just talking through while I'm clicking, clicking. And we're gonna put this on the screen. All right, we're gonna make it big. All right, Sudan. So here's Sudan. Oh, and that is definitely not big enough for you all to see. Let me make this bigger. Okay. Y'all should definitely be able to read it now. Okay, so Sudan, Arabic is As Sudan. All right, the El Sudan, but the L changes to the character that comes after it or the sound that comes after it. So instead of saying El Sudan, they say As Sudan. It says officially the Republic of Sudan, Jumhuriyat as Sudan, is a country in Northeast Africa. Now let's skip down to the etymology of the word. And I made this so big. All right, let's skip to the etymology. All right, here's the etymology of the word. The country's name, Sudan, is a name given historically to the large Sahel region of West Africa to the immediate west of modern day Sudan. Historically, Sudan referred to both the geographical region stretching from Senegal on the Atlantic coast to northeastern Africa and the Republic of Sudan. So that whole strip was historically referred to as Sudan. The name derives from the Arabic Belad as Sudan, or the land of the blacks.
So now, to make his argument, he's dealing with an Arabic term. So that's way after the Madu nature terms that we went through. And notice though, he read that the geographical region is stretching from Senegal and the Republic of Sudan. But he's going to focus on Sudan though.
Okay? So now, as I always recommend people who use Wikipedia or any encyclopedia for that matter, whenever you see superscripted numbers, definitely always check out the citation, the sources of the citations when you have the time. Okay, always do that. Always do that. So fortunately, we could just hover and you see it. I don't know if y'all see that hover on screen when I hover it. Can y'all see that? When I hover, does it show up? I can't even see it at the same time. But anyway, so that's coming from a 1959 publication, International Association of History of Religions, etc. Okay, and so Balad es Sudan, or the land of the blacks. So now, what does this mean? So now I'm gonna go back to my screen here. Mind you, these are experts in Egyptology. Okay, this is E.A. Wallace Budge, who was an expert in Egyptology, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You have Griffith, expert Egyptologist, was an expert in Egyptology, and so on and so forth. All of these people translated the word Nehes.
These are experts. And this time it's not appealing to authority. This time it's not deferring to authority. He gives two names, then he says all of these people. He gives two names, then he says all of these people.
as blacks, and the Hesse term as far as the place name is the land of blacks or black land. Okay.
That's not what he says, but we will see why he keeps focusing on black. For those who don't know, he has already stated that the ancient Egyptians were not black. Probably not on this video, but I've heard him say that. You know?
Okay, these are coming from the experts now. Okay, so what they're telling us, what these experts are telling us, is that the ancient Egyptians called their southern neighbors blacks.
No, no. The ancient Egyptians used the term Nehisi, and it doesn't mean black. It doesn't translate as black. He made that up. He made that up.
Okay, because these are ancient Egyptian
That's not even what he says on his own source, what he's showing on the screen.
glyphs. And for all intent and purposes, these are ancient Egyptian words. This is what the ancient Egyptians recorded in terms of naming the people south of them and naming the territory south of them.
Yes. But the translation that Wudja, Willie Lynch Wudja, his translation is something that he made up. That's not even what he says on his source.
So the Egyptians called the people south of them the Nehisiu.
Yes.
The experts translate that as the blacks.
No, that's not what he says there.
All right, y'all follow me so far? The ancient Egyptians called the territory south of them, not their own, but the territory south of them, black land, or the land of those blacks.
The Kem and Kemet don't have anything to do with black, though. It's so funny. The brothers and sisters who will learn the meta nature, they'll be like, man, was this dude serious? Was he for real?
The region of those blacks. And the experts say that it means black land.
No, no, they didn't say that. And notice he keeps saying the experts. Two names. The experts. Okay, two guys against a whole consensus. Two outdated sources.
Okay, this is not coming from Wudja.
Yes, it's coming from him. That's not what he says there.
I'm quoting the experts.
Is he quoting the experts, brothers and sisters? I'm going to look at the comments later. But is he quoting the experts right now, or is he making it up? Is he going from Nehisi to Negro to black? Or is he going to Nehisi to black? Is it what his own source say?
Okay, these are late 1800, early 1900 experts.
Outdated information. But expert. That guy will make he will make a great guru. He keeps repeating it. I guess he feels like, the more he repeats it, and the more people will believe it. With the neophytes, that will work. With Batishan, that will work.
The authorities, according to them.
My goodness. Did Wudja say the authorities? How convenient. There's no appealing to authority now. It's as if the more specialists, the more experts state something, and there's a consensus, and the less he goes with it. But the marginal ones, one or two that's outdated that goes against the consensus, oh, that's the experts because they haven't been challenged. Okay.
The Egyptians called their southern neighbors blacks.
No, stop it.
The territory they lived in, land of the blacks,
He made that up again.
or black land.
He made that up also.
Now, now let's skip to modern times, or at least medieval Arab times. During medieval Arab times,
He said it himself. Let's skip to medieval Arab time. You know, so we go from, let's say 1500 BC to 2000 years later. Let's skip.
the Arabs refer to this same area, but even in a larger area, as we just read,
Yes, larger area, not the same area.
the land of the blacks, Bilad es Sudan, the land of the blacks. Okay, so all the way, and Sudan as a country is still named Sudan.
You know the fun thing when he starts saying all the way, but he stopped himself because you cannot say all the way from the Middle Nature to the Arabic. There's no transition from the Middle Nature to the Arabic language. There's no evolution whatsoever.
We call, the area south of Egypt today, this very day, we still call it Sudan.
And when I say there's no evolution, I mean from the Middle Nature directly to the Arabic. That's what I mean.
So what I'm pointing out is this consistency here, from ancient Egyptian times to medieval Arab times to modern times. Okay?
Wow. We go from the Middle Nature, then we go 2,000 years later, and then until modern times. Wow, it's consistent. Great demonstration. That's thorough. Thorough, thorough pseudo information.
It's been consistently identified with something related to black. Now, everything I just said, nothing is new. I'm not telling you anything new. This is not rocket science. The point here, the takeaway here, is that this has been in our face the entire time. So, but instead of us looking at that and rolling with it, we put our attention on Egypt and not Sudan. We don't claim Sudan like that. We don't argue for claiming rights and ancestral rights and stuff when it comes to Sudan. We claim Egypt. You got people walking around thinking they're direct descendants of the ancient Egyptians by way of Walter Williams. By the way, Walter Williams is one of those advocates of that. And anybody who follows his line of thinking, coming out of that, there's a lot of people. I'm sure you all have heard and seen people on YouTube, Facebook, what have you, who believe that the ancient Egyptians, they will say those are our ancestors.
Now, for the record, many Black people around the world will talk about Black people in different parts of the world, and they will use the term our ancestors. They don't necessarily say that only for Kemet or ancient Egypt, but it's all good. It's just a talking point.
And they believe that they're direct descendants of the Egyptians, and they want to be Egyptian, et cetera, et cetera. This is the big fuss now. You got people arguing over Egyptomania, quote unquote Egyptomania. People walking around. People feel like people want to be Egyptian or Egyptian. So you have people who are arguing against that, saying, "Oh, you Negroes here in America, or you African Americans in America, you're not Egyptians, you're West African. That's that whole argument that you're hearing right now. So the point there is that people are focused on Egypt and making claims to it, but yet the experts and the consistency throughout history has been that if you're looking for black, if you're looking for a label of black people and a label of black land and all that kind of stuff, then you're a little bit, let me put the map back up. You're a little bit too high on the longitude or latitude, whichever one goes across left and right. The longitude, I believe. Latitude.
So you see, is focusing on black for Sudan, but is rejecting a translation of Kem as black by most Egyptologists in the world. You can do the test, brothers and sisters. Just type in Kemet and see different sources, different authors, and see what description or definition they will give you. You will notice that you will have black somewhere. And what is the word for black is Kem. And it is inconvenient for their book. They're trying to save their book. He's trying to save their book.
Ladder, up and down. I always get confused with that. So somebody keep me honest. But you're a little bit too high on the longitude or latitude. You need to take it down a little bit if you're looking for something to cling on to in terms of claiming blackness and claiming, everything where everything fits. Because we have the historical continuity, we have the experts saying it is so, and then we have the modern day name reflecting it. Do y'all follow that? Anciently, historically, expertly, and modernly.
Anciently, historically, expertly, and modernly. Wow. Pseudo as heck.
All four of those areas are consistent. And on
Modernly is an area.
top of that, no one is arguing against it. No one's fussing about that. No one. All right, but I'm going to add to that. I'm going to add a fifth element to that. That was four. I'm going to add a fifth element to it, which is visualization. So now we're going to visualize what the Egyptians, how their southern neighbors, and how did the ancient Egyptians represent neighbors in their compared to them. So here's my question to the chat. When it came to the ancient Egyptians depicting themselves, and then the ancient Egyptians depicting their southern neighbors, who did they depict darker or blacker or black? Did they depict themselves as black, or did they depict their southern neighbors as black? Which one was darker? That's my question to the chat.
Now that's interesting. He asked which one was darker. He's not sure. He's not sure whether he should say which people were depicted as black or which people were darker. But let's listen up.
That is my question to the chat. Let me put the chat back on the screen. I want to see some answers. I'm going to repeat the question. In the artwork of ancient Egypt, did the ancient Egyptians paint themselves or their southern neighbors darker? Which one is darker? Now, Black Egyptian, first of all, shout out to you. let me put your comment on the screen. You say that depends on what tomb you're talking about. No, there's only one tomb that would warrant a statement, any statement outside of what I'm asking. That's
There it is. And it's going to say which one it is.
the tomb of Ramses III.
Yeah. We went through that many times, didn't we? The Remech are depicted the same as the Nehesi. Or Nehesiu. Or Nehesu. So it's going to say there's only one.
All right. That is the only tomb where, at least where the Book of Gates are, where you have the so-called Table of Nations, which is really not that, but that's what people like to call it. That is the only tomb, the one and only tomb where you'll see the Remech and the Nehesiu looking identical. So we're aware of.
So it appears that Willie Lynch Wudja has inspected every tomb in Kemet.
That. And that's in the tomb of Ramses III. Nowhere else. All right. So just want to make sure that we definitely cover that. So my question is, in the 3,000 plus years of ancient Egyptian history and their surviving artwork that we can still see to this very day, did the Egyptians paint themselves darker than their southern neighbors, or did they paint their southern neighbors darker than themselves? The question is fairly straightforward and fairly easy. All right. And I'm surprised that I'm not seeing any answers. I mean, because look, if you all had time and if I had the time, which I don't, we can go through a statistical analysis right here live. We can pull up thousands of pictures of different artifacts, walls, and so on and so forth from Egypt right now, and we could walk from dynasty to dynasty. We can go from the old kingdom and start working our way towards the present.
There's 26 comments. I want to go through them because, if I don't do that, I'm going to have 100 comments and I'm going to go through them quickly. So I will resume after. So, the pharaoh wrote he's getting the information from the mouth of his oppressor and trying to explain it. Well, really, I would say it doesn't matter too much who is getting the information from. But I get your point, though. But he's surely getting some outdated sources. Pharaoh wrote Arabs hate black people. I guess he hasn't received the knowledge of the Arab slave trade and its origins. The Fight Doctor wrote, it's funny how some Negroes will believe anything Europeans say about African history, culture, and people. Knowledge doesn't have any color. Oh, hold on. I missed some. I missed a few comments actually. Jafar wrote, Shaka, they are appealing to authority like they teach against. Let me read that again. Shaka, they are appealing to authority like they teach against. Oh, it's whenever it suits them. Those are talking points people use. You know what I'm saying? Mungezi wrote exactly. Shaka, they use the appealing to authority statement when they caught up and when they want to sell his books. Mungezi wrote, Wu is one huge contradiction. Been watching him for years now. Contradicting himself from time to time. Maybe eventually in life you might contradict yourself, but this is a major issue, major statement. Black Egyptian wrote, agreed, he was definitely being contradictive last night. Mungezi wrote, interestingly, Smash showed that in Medu nature there are words equivalent to riparian not what they came to mean. They're just inferring, but there are specific words for riparian. They're trying to save their books. Their book. That's what they're trying to do. Like Egyptian wrote craziness. And he added chem. Don't mean black, but Nehesi does. Shaking my head. Mongezi wrote, that's him telling himself he knows that his source is flawed, and if he could, he would do those videos to show that Burge is wrong. Mongezi wrote, but he has a position to protect. Yes, his book. It's still law. 3/5 of a human being? 3/5 is still law in the United States or United Snakes. Wow, I wasn't aware of that. Big Road Hotep, these guys are following Laird Stanton, software developer, out of the science of the doggone. He uses Burge as a reference. But Laird, not sure how to pronounce that, is far better than most of them because he's showing that the ancient African myths are high science instead. Some of these black scholars would just dismiss it as nothing more than myth. If I remember well, some months back, he was advising people to rather use the Vigus dictionary and a few others instead of Burge. Yeah, but now he has to defend his book, so he's putting Burge and another one because if he puts Burge only, so he puts another one so he can say all these scholars, all these experts, you see. And he goes on about, yeah, this hasn't been disputed. Yeah, those are talking points, brothers and sisters. But some neophytes, some impressionable people, they fall for stuff like that. They fall for stuff like, when I'm telling you the level of the conscious community is low, he's winging it. He is intellectually misleading people, I'll tell you. Lol, smileys. He's getting the information from the mouth of his. Okay, that's what I read earlier. Mangezi wrote, people tend to forget that Egypt over time was built by many different clans from across the continent. Well, some people say that. I don't know about that, but we have Radio One who gave a donation, $4. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Once again, brothers and sisters, I don't mind. You can do the minimum donation. It will be greatly appreciated. And Radio One wrote, please, Shaka, keep exposing these frauds. If you send $1, I don't know if the minimum is $1 or $2 or $1.99, but I really don't mind. It's helpful. Black Egyptian wrote, I kept answering law. Yeah, your answer was not the type of answer was expecting. And he said, I'm surprised there's no answer. But even his followers, they must have been very uncomfortable. Like, damn, this guy's been telling us to use other stuff than Burge, and now is relying almost solely on Burge. Strange.
Towards the end of Egypt. And we can do a statistical analysis and we can see that what we're going to end up with is 99% of the adult males of ancient Egyptians' depiction is in a reddish brown pigment.
Pay attention to the reddish brown.
And whenever they depict people south of them, they used a different pigment from the ones that they use for themselves. It's very, very consistent. It's very, very consistent. So the point here is that the ancient Egyptians called the territory south of them Ta Nehisi. Ta meaning region or land, and Nehisi, the experts say, means black.
Once again, Nehisi, the experts say, means black. He put up two sources, two different guys. And then he says the experts. You'll think like he's like 205 experts. But the Chem, how many attestation did Smash Rockwell show? How many attestation from the TLA that were translated as black, even black men? Then it would be like, well, there's no word for man. Netaneb showed Sabi Chem, didn't he? I'm telling you, first they were like, well, we don't have a determinative for a man. And when we show determinative for a man, or we don't have determinative for color. Yes, we have a statistical analysis. 99%. They didn't say 99%. All right.
Okay. The land.
But it's not going to say 99% of the Egyptologists translate Chem as black.
Of the blacks, or you could say black land. So Ta-Nehisi can be said as being black land or land of the blacks. Then the word Nehisiu is, by the experts' account, it means blacks.
But yeah, how many times is saying expert on this video when usually, oh, you're appealing to authority, you're deferring to authority.
The Egyptians depicted the people south of them darker than themselves. All right. So I want everybody to understand that. They depict them darker than themselves. So let's quickly do this real quick, because I don't want to take up time, but at the same time I don't want any room for any games at this point. So here we have
Now, if you look at this statue here, you can see that the color has faded away, more certain parts than others. But he's picking his artifacts carefully.
a fourth dynasty example. I'm just going to run through a couple of examples. Like I said, we could spend hours.
Look at the area around the nose, around the cheek here, even around here. But it's okay.
Hours on this. I don't have the time to do it, but it can be done. All right, just not tonight. I have thousands of pictures. I have gigabytes of images and whatnot. But I'm gonna quickly go through a couple of these.
If you look around the nose and around the eye where you will have the pupil, it's okay. I ain't gonna dwell on that.
Dynasty depiction of an ancient Egyptian. Just pay attention to the visuals. All right. This is coming from the 5th dynasty. All right. I want y'all to pay attention to this reddish brown pigment. Reddish
brown. You will hear him mentioning reddish. He will not say dark brown. He will not say dark, light black, for example. Some people say light blue, light red. He will not say light black. He will not say dark brown. He will say reddish brown. He might even go from reddish brown to reddish, but we'll see.
Brown pigment. Again, 99% of all the artwork of adult males
99.
in ancient Egypt. I'm not talking about the women, because the women were painted in the variations of yellow.
99%.
Okay. But the men were painted with this reddish brown pigment. All right, I just want y'all to understand that. 5th dynasty. Now there's another 5th dynasty. All right, see, you can see the yellow of the woman, that's where her arms wrapped around the leg on the right, and then the male is reddish brown. You see the people here on the left, same thing. Here's a more close-up shot. All right, just want y'all to understand. Moving to the 6th dynasty, the people in yellow and that reddish brown. There's another 5th dynasty. All right, see, all right, I just want y'all to understand that. 5th.
You see here? 5th dynasty, tomb of Princess Idut Sesheshat. Then we have the mastaba of tea. Then he says, "Oh, we have
Bam.
even closer." That's the same thing he showed earlier.
Here's
You know?
a more closer
So it gives you the impression that he showed so many different ones, but it's okay. I'm not tripping on that.
shot. All right. Just want y'all to understand. Moving to the 6th dynasty, reddish brown. 6th dynasty, reddish brown. Look at all the reddish brown you see in the back. I'm gonna quickly go through these because I don't want to spend too much time. 6th dynasty, Mastaba of Mer F Nebef and his wife. See, she's yellow, he's reddish brown. All right. Let's keep it moving. Now we move to the 12th dynasty. All right, 12th dynasty, reddish brown. Now I want y'all to notice the alternation in the hue of the reddish brown on the group on the left. The ancient Egyptians artists did that to show groupings or to show quantity. All right, they altered the colors to alternate so it won't be all bodged together. All right.
That's interesting. Why is that not consistent? Why is that not appearing 99% of the time? And when you have a group of Remech or ancient Egyptians, then they will alternate the hue. Some will have a darker hue, then a lighter hue. How come it's not consistent? But it's okay. I'm not tripping on that. I'm not tripping on that at all.
As a matter of fact, there's a lot of scholarly works on ancient art that explains all of this good stuff that I am skipping. Another one, 18th dynasty, reddish brown. 20th dynasty, reddish brown. Now we get up here on the left, reddish brown. I believe, if I can see this name correctly, this is the tomb of Seti the First, I believe. But on the right hand side, you have pictures of people from Ta-Nehisi. Okay, people from Ta-Nehisi. Let's see. Do I have another one? All right, here's some more. So here is different depictions. So notice that the person in the top left is a person from Kush. You see the name Kush or Kash in the glyphs in front of his face. Look how he's depicted. All right. Just want y'all to understand that. And there's more on there too. I don't have their pictures, but you see in front of the Keftiu, which is Crete person. I know y'all can't see my cursor, can you? So I'm sorry. Over here is the Kushite person from Kash or Kush. Then you have over here Keftiu, this person here, but in front of him is another person, and in front of this person is another person that's painted dark as well. All right, so I'm just pointing these things out. Same thing here. Now it's cut off because I'm highlighting these individuals here. Okay, so I'm just pointing these things out. All right. What else do we have here? What else? And then this is the famous tomb of Hoi that a lot of people are familiar with, where you have tribute being paid, and a whole procession and things like that, where you have these people from Ta-Nehisi, the Ta-Nehisi region. All right. So I just want to point these things out. So I just want to go to that real quick as a little detour. I didn't intend on showing this, but since I could quickly show this, I didn't mind doing that. All right. So I want y'all to just make sure you all pay attention to that. Now back to
He said he didn't intend on showing this. But how come he doesn't say, look here, reddish brown? Because this hue here is lighter than the next one. So first we have those, well, maybe it's three guys actually, because we see three hands. Then you have the guy holding the plate with the rings of gold. Now you see his hue, his skin tone, his complexion. It's not the same as the one right behind him. And after him, we have someone who has, once again, a lighter hue. But there, Willie Lynch Wudja doesn't say reddish brown for this Nubian or Nehesu. So the guy that I'm talking about is also holding a plate with rings of gold. Then behind we have a guy holding a plate with a recipient, probably containing liquid. You know, and here we can see the leopard skin hanging on the arm of the same guy who's holding the gold. So it is just noteworthy that here there's no mention of reddish brown. Reddish brown has to be exclusive to the people of Egypt. But that wasn't planned. He said himself he did not intend of showing that. See how life can be ironic sometimes?
What I was saying though. Let me get back to it. So back to what I was saying. So remember, the experts translate Nahisi as black people. The Nahisi are
No, it doesn't say black people. We don't have the word black. Nehes doesn't mean black. He's making that up. His own source doesn't say that.
black people or Negroes. The experts translate Nahes as a place, the black land.
He keeps saying the experts. He's talking about two guys.
Or the land of the blacks.
Doesn't say black land. Doesn't say the land of the blacks. That's outdated, nevertheless.
All right. This has been uncontested. Nobody fusses fight.
And once again, it's uncontested. Yeah, I mean, he repeats. He's long-winded, and he still repeats himself so many times. He's trying to make a point there.
Fights about it, and it's been very consistent.
Oh yeah, it's been very consistent. We went from the time of the hieroglyphics, the Medinecha, and then we jump directly to the medieval Arabic period.
So much so that today, Bilad el Sudan has the meaning of land of the blacks. It was for the strip from west to east Africa, um, but no longer called that. But it's preserved in the country name Sudan to this very day. All right, so y'all follow me on that. All right, so that all being said now, then the question remains: okay, with all of this stuff being blatant and being right here, in front of our eyes that we can still see as I'm showing you, then why was there such a focus on Egypt being everything that I'm showing about Sudan? That's the question. Why why is Egypt being argued to be everything that Sudan is being described as by the experts, by the Egyptians, and by modern terms and labels? So I want y'all to notice something, okay? That if we were to lay claim to Sudan, there would be no wrestling, no tug of war, no fighting, no debating on both sides, because that's been very consistent um, all along. But when it comes to Egypt, people have to wrestle, fuss, and fight for that. So now, here's the what's very very interesting, that because there's no fuss when it comes to Sudan and Ta-Nehisi. Now, mind you, remember, Ta-Nehisi is now called Nubia, and the Nehisiu are now called Nubians. Okay, follow me on this now. So, in the middle of the fighting part for Egypt to be what Sudan is described as, now you have seen a change in trajectory in the arguments. Now, this is not recent, but it's fairly recent. So now the arguments changed to make the Nubians the Egyptians. Do y'all follow that? Reason being is because there's no argument about the Nubians being black. Because remember, as a matter of fact, let me put this on the screen because I really need you all to get this, and because I'm not speaking live with you all, I need to make sure you all understand this. So where can I put this? Where can I put this? Where can I put this? I'm going to put it right here. So I want y'all to follow me on this. So I got to do my whiteboard thing with y'all, okay? So I want y'all to understand. So we have Nihes. We have Nihes equals Negro, which
according to the outdated translation of Burge.
Equals black. All right, which equals Nubian. All of these terms, according to the experts, are synonymous.
Did the expert, as you call them, say that these terms are synonymous? I don't recall that.
You're looking at 4 synonyms: Nihes, Negro, Black, and Nubian. So we've established our equation. It's a 4-term equation. All of these terms equal to each other. All right. Now, none of this is contested. This is not debated. As I pointed out, from ancient times to the dawn of Egyptology by the expert, well, actually from ancient times to medieval Arabs and their conquests and things and their labeling procedures and stuff, methods.
So during the conquest of the Arabs, it seems as if the Arabs were supposed to contest some Mother Nature when people didn't really have the knowledge of the Mother Nature. But that's his talking point. You know what I'm saying? That's his talking point.
It's to early Egyptologists to the modern day. This has been consistent
until the modern day. So we are led to believe that nowadays the Egyptologists agree that Nehes means Negro.
Only thing that changed is the politically correct term. We don't really use Negro and Negroes anymore today. We say Black or Nubian. Okay, that's all the same. So now, Egypt. So that's unattested. So now, because Egypt doesn't have
Did he say that's unattested? I guess he meant to say that's not contested.
Egypt doesn't have the same uncontested consistency. We have to fight to make Egypt. We have to fight to do this. I'm gonna put it like that. I can't even make it's supposed to be the not equal sign. And so it's not equal. So I'm gonna put not equal. So Egypt is not synonymous with these other ones here. So we have to fight right here. So we have to fight for this. This is where the fight is. We have to fight to make this true. Okay, we have to fight and fuss to make this true. And in the tactics to try to make this, to try to fit Egypt in this equation, what people are doing or have done is now they're trying to make Nubians equal Egyptians in some form or fashion. They're trying to make Nubians Egyptians. That's why you hear all this talk about, and as a matter of fact, and I'm sure you all have seen this, where people will tie in the conversations of Kemet Kush. They'll call it Ethiopia Kushite. Ethiopia Kushite. Kemet, Ethiopia, Kushite. They'll merge all of that into one and say they're one. Kemet, Kush, Ethiopia. They'll do that. And I'm sure you all have seen it in some form or fashion. And they'll make them the same. They say, oh, the Nubians and Egyptians were the same. They were the same. But they were not. And this goes back to my Facebook post where the only reason why people can say that is because people have swallowed the banana coming out of that tailpipe. They're falling for the banana in the tailpipe.
For the record, brothers and sisters, you probably heard about the first nome or sepat, and it is Tasseti, the land of the Ba. You know, people don't say the land of the Negroes. Where is Tasseti? Isn't it located in the area that we call Nubia? But earlier we heard somebody say that they're not the same.
With this swap with this word Nubian. Now, here's the thing. Here's the trick. The ancient Egyptians never called their southern neighbors Nubians. The ancient Egyptians had.
All right. Now, on one hand, it's synonymous there. When it suits him, Nehesi or Nehesu is synonymous with Negro, it's synonymous with Black, therefore it's synonymous with Nubian. But then he's telling us the ancient Egyptians never called their neighbors Nubians. How convenient. But the ancient Egyptians never called their neighbors Negro. They never called their neighbors Black.
Two prominent cities called Nub or Nubet, which to them meant gold. Okay, so these were cities of gold or gold towns. And on the modern maps, you can see them as Ombos and Kom-Ombo. But both cities, Ombos and Kom-Ombo, are within the borders of Egypt to this very day. These two cities called Nubet or Nubt, are not beyond the borders of Egypt in ancient times or in modern times. I don't know what their Arabic names are today, but look up Ombos, O-M-B-O-S, and Kom-Ombo, K-O-M-O-M-B-O. Look those two cities up. And you'll see that the indigenous name for those two cities was connected to gold, Nub or Nubet. But the point here is that those are within the borders of Egypt. And so if anybody were to be anglicized, if we were to anglicize or Romanize that term Nubet, we would say Nubian for those two cities. And so the people who lived in those two cities would be, even though they weren't, but they would be called Nubians. But guess what? They would be Egyptians. All right? Now, but that's not the Nehesiu. The Nehesiu at all times were people south of the Egyptian border. So you see the trick? Because they equated Nubian with the Nehesiu people, whenever we talk about the original Nubians that lived in those two cities I just mentioned, people confuse the two because the original Nubians of those two cities are in fact and indeed Egyptian. But
so the people of Tasseti, they are Egyptian as well? And Tasseti is located in Nubia, isn't it? So
the Nehesiu people are not Egyptian. But so when people make the claim that the Nubians are Egyptians, they're falling for the trick. And they don't mind falling for the trick. Why? Because people are fussing and fighting and arguing, trying to make Egypt equal these other things here. So they don't mind the slippage of sticking in Nubian in there and saying Nubians equal Egyptians. See, down here, when you say Nubian equal Egyptians, or let me put it up here. When I say Nubians equal Egyptians of here, and this is a true statement, what I'm talking about is the place called Nubt. All right. It's a place called Nubet or Nubt, which translates as Gold Town. Just to be clear, this is within the Egyptian borders. But down here, when you see Nubians equal black,
1 second. You see Nubet, which translates as Gold Town. But Kemet with the root Kem, no black, riparian.
Negro, and the East, this is talking about the people south of
Does Kem mean riparian?
Egypt that were seen as foreigners to the Egyptians. They're not the same. Okay, they're not the same. So when people argue that the Nubians are Egyptians, if they just say that, then you think they're talking about these up here, but they're not. They're trying to imply that the people south of Egypt are Egyptians as well. All in the larger context of forcing the Egyptians to inherit the description and accolades of the Nehisiu as seen throughout the historical continuity of what I explained earlier. The ancient Egyptians, the word Nehes and Nehesiu and Ta Nehesi is translated by the experts now as black people and black land. Black people, black land.
We went through his source. But it's better for him now to keep saying black people, black land without his source, because that's not what his source say. So he's repeating it over and over and over and over again.
Black people, black land. The experts are doing that. So
No, Wudja is doing that. That's not what the expert wrote.
all those people who appeal to authority now, don't run from it now. Accept what the experts say.
That's not what the experts say. That's tricknology is doing right now. All of that to defend his riparian book.
The experts are telling you that the land of the blacks is south of Egypt.
Doesn't say land of the blacks. Even in the outdated stuff.
That the black people are south of Egypt. That's what the experts say. Now people can cherry pick, but hey, grab your bucket and have cherry juice then. But don't come and say that all of this is not the case or not true when it's right in our face. All right. So with that, just as you know, just to show you all who we are dealing with, let me just put a couple of pictures up here. So these are the experts I'm talking about. So here's E.A. Wallace Budge.
So the Mr. appealing to authority whenever it suits him, logical fallacy. He quotes someone that's outdated, and he goes as far as showing his picture as if it's going to make a difference.
He is a capable and qualified expert.
Capable and qualified, outdated but capable and qualified. But when you quote modern Egyptologists who are still alive, oh, that's appealing to authority.
Was a capable, qualified expert. And then you have Francois Griffith, another capable and qualified expert. All right. Then you have, and I don't have the picture right now. Maybe I'll show it another time. you have others that were around the same era of time. Now, I'm speaking about the late 1800s and early 1900s. All of the scholarship during that time reflects this sentiment.
He says there are others, but it doesn't name them. You know what I'm saying? So feels like, there's so many scholars who are on the same page.
By the experts. All the experts of that day and time were telling you and telling us, telling me that that the Egyptians referred to the people south of them as blacks,
All the experts, that's what you see on the screen. Two guys.
and the land south of them as the black land or land of the blacks, the land where these black people dwelled, these black people lived. All right, not Egypt. So we are a little bit too high on the longitude around the globe. We need to go down a little bit if we're going to make these claims. All right. So let me put the chat back up here. I want to hear from you all on the chat. I want to make sure you all follow what I just said so far. I'm gonna back up a bit because I think Black Egyptian, uh, who has the glyphs Ta Shemau next to their name. What looks like. Let's see. So we got American Dream in the building. So, shout out to everybody who's tuned in. I gave shout outs earlier, but I'm just trying to get into the comments now. So if you had a comment earlier, while I was sharing the screens just now, I could not see the chat. So I am trying to catch up on y'all. All right. So Christopher Withers, correct. Southern neighbors are depicted as being darker. That is absolutely correct. Elox, I am not concerned on the answer. I sway though. They paint themselves. Oh, I always thought they paint themselves black. What about the tomb or gallery that Anthony Browder, probably talking about Anthony Browder, not Anthony Brown, recently discovered? You have to name the tomb. I'm not sure if you're talking about Kerkaka Amun. I believe that's the name. Kerkaka Amun tomb. They're the reddish. It's the reddish brown pigment in that tomb.
Reddish brown.
Let's keep going. So Black Egyptian says, Sashu, is the reddish brown for Egyptians reality or artistic canon? It's an artistic canon. All right, so that answers that one. It's an artistic canon.
Interesting, isn't it? The reddish brown is an artistic canon.
As they did with everybody. So they did the same with the Nehes. I'm not sure what the same would be. Oh, to show distinction. Yes, they sure did. The alternation of
Did you see how quickly he skipped?
slightly Nehes, I'm not sure.
First, yeah.
As all right.
Is the reddish brown for Egyptians reality or artistic canon? And he replied, artistic canon.
So that answers that one. It's an artistic canon. As they did with everybody. So they did the same with the Nehes. I'm not sure.
See? And the same person, which is Black Egyptian, he wrote, they did the same with the Nehese or Nehes law. And then look how quickly, I mean, he doesn't even address that.
Did the same with the Nehes. I'm not sure what the same would be. Oh, to show distinction. Yes, they sure did.
I'm not sure what the same will be. And then it says to show distinction. That's somebody else there. That's not Black Egyptian, but it's all good. I'm not tripping on that.
The alternation of slightly lighter, slightly darker between a large group of figures in any particular vignette is an artistic canon in terms of showing a multitude of people, a group. Please show the Battle of Kadesh as the ethnicities are all mixed. Okay, the Battle of Kadesh. I'm not even sure if there's a very good color representation of that, because you have a lot of reproductions of that. Okay, so I'm gonna round back and come back to that, because we gotta be mindful of the reproductions, because the images I have, they're not the actual images, the primary source for photographs and things like that. They're not colorized like that. Okay, so keep that in mind. Who is that? That's Strife. All right, so keep that in mind. Um, okay, so Black Egyptian. Since that's the case, is it fair to deduce that the inhabitants of southern Egypt share many phenotypical affinities with those in northern Sudan? Yeah, I mean, outside of phenotype, see, I don't even want to get into phenotype and genotype, because it's not a DNA conversation at all.
It's phenotype DNA, brothers and sisters.
And I don't want to deflect into a DNA conversation, because that's what a lot of people tend to do, and this is why,
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? I spoke to the chief dude. We showed him the painting of Amenhotep III, and asked him if he feels like he's not a black guy. Then the guy went straight to DNA.
The conversation never gets to a point where it's understood and settled. Okay, the point that I'm making here is that there is so listen very closely to my.
All right, so after that, I'll be able to share something quickly, and then I'll be able to read the comments. But nobody will be able to say what's taken out of context, So listen carefully to the point he's making.
My point, because I said all the things I said, last night and just now, right? Here's my bottom line point, that we are up here today in 2022 after over 50 years of arguing, fussing, and fighting about the identity of the ancient Egyptians in an anachronistic way of saying that they're black, to include ourselves with them and they with us.
Of saying that they are black. Fussing and fighting of saying that they are black.
We have people today claiming to be direct descendants of ancient Egyptians. We have African Americans claiming to be direct descendants of ancient Egyptians. You have African Americans who are calling ancient Egyptians their ancestors. However they mean by that, they do it. You have people who are trying to actually be ancient Egyptians here in America right now. You have people who are hell bent on defining even the word Kemet as the land of blacks.
There you go. Trying to save his book. Because the root kem in the word Kemet is translated as black by most Egyptologists in the world. And that's problematic for their book and their claim of that riparian, whatever.
As if they named their country out of being motivated or inspired by their skin color.
Yeah, here's a talking point. Here's a talking point. And he's the one who was talking about anachronism. So nowadays, people wouldn't name a country according to the skin color. So it means that at all times since the dawn of humanity, it's not something that's possible, So basically, that's the talking point as to why all the Egyptologists in the world are wrong.
All of that's going on still.
It reminds me of Walter Williams, though, Oh, we're not there when they made those symbols, so, it's not deciphered. And there it is.
To this very day. Yet, right next to that, all of that fussing and wrestling and kicking up dust, right next to that is the peaceful, calm, no fussing, no fighting.
What about the Magi?
And continuous, blatant, and overt black of the Sudan.
All right, so he made his point, people of the Sudan, Nubia, they're black. But ancient Egyptians, they're dark brown. So let me share. Oh, brother Neb. Hotep, and how you doing?
Hotep sent excellent show. Just want to be real quick. I would like you to go back to where he stated he was trying to cause confusion with Kemet. Now he's trying to say that we said, me and you and other people said that the Nahisi were Egyptians. He said we said that. He said
yeah, he said we're trying to make the Egyptians Nubians.
okay.
But
okay.
I don't think it's necessary to go back, because me finding that part might take some time. And
All right,
besides,
all right.
there's some things I want to share. But if you want to say something briefly, feel free, and then I'm going to share something. We're going to have a good laugh.
Okay. Now everyone heard that. No. You see, I was just asking you about, do you have the recording, or if you can go back, but eventually I want you to go back, right?
Oh, Smash, was that? Oh no, Smash is there. I'm
Now
sorry, come again, brother.
I'm about to show TLA.
Mm-hmm.
See, it said that we are saying this.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to share your screen?
Yes.
Yeah, feel free. And
right.
I will
So
go.
it is claimed that we did. See, I love this recording now. I like that style, Afro style. Thank you. Yeah, you catch these guys on recordings, right? So we won't have issues. You see this? Now, hold on. He said that we said that. These get caught in so many lies. It just doesn't. If right now, dudes should stop while they hit. It's embarrassing. He said that we said that. Who know Medu Necha? I want some people who know Medu Necha. We can start from all the way up top at the beginning. I would love for him to come on, Willie Lynch Wudja to come on and translate. He said that we said that. I didn't say that. Kemet means Egyptians according to all dictionaries, correct? They use the nomenclature Egyptians.
Yes.
Me and you know this. Anybody who went to school know this. Anybody who got trained, formal training in Medu Necha knows this. It's translated as the nomenclature Egyptian, Kemet. Now, what do we see here? See that? It says Na'i. Hold on, let me. What does this say here? We translate Medu Necha. This is TLA. They got the TLA registry number 1334. They give you the source. Filet, they say Nahisi. This is Nahisi. I didn't say that. These are experts saying that. I didn't say that. So it says Na'i, Nin, Ai, or Na'i, Himnet, or Himne, right? Himne, Nahisu, right here. This Nahi, they got it underlined. Like, look, Nahisi, they got this underlined. Nahisa, Nahisu, Nahisi, however, Nu. And with this, people, what do everybody translate Kemet as? See,
Egypt.
I can't wait for Afro Style to break it, to catch them, and then where's that we can have the recording. Because I like the way when you come up with the recording, that's good, because now we have actual inscriptions. We didn't say this. The inscriptions said it. The archives said it. What does this say? Where all the Medu Necha scholars at? What does this say? Right? Here go the German right here. It's even in German. They say nie gada, right? Von Egypt. What that mean? Nie gada, von Egypt.
Now we can guess what nigga means.
Yeah, we know what that means. Black person in German. Nigada is black person in German, y'all.
It's probably Negro in German because they have Schwarze for
Black
black.
person.
Yes.
Negro
Yes.
is synonymous with black.
Yeah.
We look up the
Yes.
etymology to Negroes.
Yes.
It's a Spanish Portuguese word. Spanish is within the Indo-European languages,
Mhm.
and Negro means black. It translates synonymously with black person all
Mhm.
throughout the Indo-European languages. So
Mhm.
thus for this Indo-European language of German says Niga. Niga also means black or sub-Saharan African or black person. Nihisi. We not trying to play these games. This is not us saying this. I'm not saying it. I'm not acting like an expert. See? Yup, Black Egyptian stated, I see Nehes and Kemet. Who else can translate? I'm gonna know what's up with some translations. What's up with the translations? Can somebody come on to demonstrate?
And for the record, brothers and
To
sisters,
help Ujabu out.
for the record, brothers and sisters, now we have what people call the neighbor, then what I call the wick, but he used it twisted flask. Then we have the folded cloth. Then that glyph that he showed, the heel side with the throw stick, the composite, as he said. That's what we have. Then we have a man, a seated man. Then we have the mark of the plural.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a single stroke. And you said that the one at the top is new?
Here is Nai.
No, above the...
Nini. Ninai or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you say here, right here?
Yeah.
To me, it's new. That's what the TLA translated as new.
Mm-hmm.
The TLA would translate new as of or in or however it can be used
just
like that in between.
Just like the report of water, right?
Huh?
It will have the same translation as the single report of water.
Yes.
Yeah. So it says Nehisi of Kemet.
See that? It said now if we do the whole thing, now I did this in a linguistic group where you have professors at, right? People who have PhDs in linguistics. I'm formally is being trained in linguistics, and I have formal training in linguistics, yes. But this guy here, who is this guy? Let's go to this guy here. This right here is a PhD in linguistics.
Dr. Obadele Kambon.
Yes, sir.
Professor from the University of Accra in Ghana.
Right.
And so you wrote great
I work as an
excavation
organizer
as
with...
always.
Sorry.
No problem. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother. Feel free. There's a name. Feel free, brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Obadele Khan, that's a linguist, right?
Yes. PhD in linguistics.
PhD? Oh, okay. I was checking sure because Willie Lynch, Willie Lynch, he acting like we said these things. People act like we are saying these things. We're not saying these things. These things experts already said years ago too. They said this years ago. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new with up-to-date anthropology, iconography studies, like the brother Shaka studies, iconography studies. Nothing wrong with that. Iconography is the study of images, right? In describing those images. Nothing wrong with iconography studies, anthropological studies, genetic studies. We get in all studies, in all the studies, we find this. So there you go. You got a linguist right here. Great excavation as always. I shared this 4 months ago. Another brother that has training in Medunetra. All right. An actual linguistic group. Me and a professor organizers. This is from the TLA. Got a registry number for the TLA. And the brother Shaka broke it down. This is Nahisi or Nahisu, whatever floats your boat, or Nahes, whatever floats your boat. New, you have new. right? You had Kemet. The most important word here is this one. This one right here is the most important word. Because you can't argue and say these are slaves. The Nahisi right here are slaves. You can't use slaves right here. Can't use that. You caught. You can't use slaves. You can't say that these are the conquered. You can't say that either. Right? They use this word. I want people to look up. This word is very important. It says these, right? I translate this as these. Nin ayi as these. And then I have, according to grammar, that will be. And then you will have hymnit, which is this look like a short form, but this is masculine. So hymnit can be masculine or feminine. And this particularly means sun people or indigenous folk, indigenous people, or the citizens. This could be translated as citizens. Citizen. Right? Nehis, Nehes, New of Kemet. Now, in German, what's the German translation? We got to, I mean, it's crazy what people say for these pseudos. It's crazy what they are saying. Watch this. We want to go to. Let me. I just want to go to German real quick and look up citizen. That's all y'all gotta do is look up citizen in German. These are citizens. Indigenous. That's what hymnet mean. Hold on. Okay. Let me see. A mission means people, human beings, mankind, right? When y'all see that mission here, you see this mission? See that? Mission?
Oh, is that the three fox skin? I thought it was the Uben glyph, like the sun with the rays. So is it the three fox skin before the after the Nai? Is the bilateral mess? Is it MS?
Where you at?
Yeah, just left. Yeah, and again, and left again. Yeah, no, right. Yeah, that one. Is that the three fox skin, the bilateral mess, MS?
No, this is the symbol of Ra
with the rays,
with the teardrops coming down.
Okay.
That forms the word hymnit. Hymnit, as why the German scholars, scientists translate it as mission, because it says the humans, the people. See, the humans, the citizens, they mean it in that aspect of citizenship, being part of Kemet. Kemet is Egypt. We didn't say that. The primary documentation said it, but this is not. This how you know they don't do research, because the TLA didn't register this. They didn't register it.
Yeah, this is Gardner reference N8, and it does stand for Uben, but also it's an abbreviation for Henmemet, basically the H with the dot underneath, the N, then the MMT. And here, now, my baby girl, she's creative, so she read the cover, but this is a Egyptian hieroglyphic by Obzomer. And that word means humanity, according to Obzomer, who is also a PhD in Egyptology.
Yeah, but I'm about to go to the one I have, right? So the TLA don't translate it as that. Let's go to the TLA, since this is from the TLA. So we ain't gonna, because we already know in certain dictionaries that Medu Neter can be different. You can have someone say Negro and someone say Nubian. We already know that. That's not new. We already know polysemous definitions are for these terms. Now, which is meaning multiple definitions that are related to each other. Now, let me share here. I'm about to share the TLA if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
You see how brother Mongozi say checkmate easy. It's so easy. Once you check the peer review data, right? It's always easy. They never are scientific. So we can just easy go back. It's not okay. Let's go to TLA. We are using TLA. We're gonna go here. What do the TLA say of this? Because I got that from the TLA registry. That's where I got that from. We go to Sky Earth. Here you go, N8. No, is it? It's the N8. It's the N8. I think it's the N8.
Yes, got in reference N8.
Right. Okay. Here we go. Himmet. You see this? Mish. Mint. So we about to do this. Watch this. See that? They can't use they were slaves. Himmet. See that? Folk. Now let's translate to English.
Yes.
Right? People. Mankind.
Followers.
Followers. Watch this, folks. We go in. So they not slaves. Some folk, right? It also have a definition of some folk. Some folk, people, mankind, follower. All right. So some translate it as some people, humans, some people as mankind, etc., etc. But
even says of Heliopolis in parentheses after some folk, and Heliopolis is in Kemet.
Correct. Let me see something real quick though. Am I at the right one though? Let me see. Let's go to some attestations real quick. All right, so this hymnet goes all the way back. The hymnet people go all the way back to Old Egyptian. They got it sourced all the way back in Old Egyptian. And you can understand the hymnet people all throughout these texts. Looking at the speech of the hymnet people, this Pepi, the hymnet people. So even Egyptians are called hymnet. That's not just used for Nubians. Even the Egyptians, look at this. Pepi, Pin, hymnet. See that? Mm-hmm. The hymnet people, all these here, Old Egyptian. Let's continue. Let me see. You command the hymnet people like men who is in his house like Hortus and who is from the Bawu, right? The Bawu.
Jebaut.
The Bawu. So you see that? One of Horus, Jabawu. All right. Pepi Nepakar calls to thousands, and the hymnet come to him in Baal. All right. The hymnet people. So if y'all want to go and understand who are the hymnet, the hymnet people, Egyptians are also Himnat people. Himnat people are Nubians, and the some folk of the some people of Kemet, and they are defined in some dictionaries define them as citizens, some dictionaries define them differently, but they are all part of Kemet. We see direct inscriptions where it says that Nubians are in fact, right, of Kemet. It says that. And they are Himnat. They are not slaves. See that? Who separates a district from a second? Captain of the sun folk, who appeases the entire land. Ruler of the ninth gods, magistrate of the sun people. All right. For whom the people of the sun rejoice in Helapius. So the Himnat, if you're considered a Himnat, you are in fact a citizen. You are an Egyptian. You are a sun folk. You are sun people. For whom the people of the sun rejoice in Heliopolis. Inu. Inu is in Kemet, Heliopolis. All right, let's continue. Let's just one more. I ain't gonna be long. I'm gonna get off. Now it says, look at this. He appointed me Lord of the Rekit people, created in the face of the sun people. That's all you gotta do is go ahead and look up what this means. Look up Himnat, right? So they try to use he was slave, they were slaves. That is outdated information. And I just want to share one other thing before I go back to the inscription for my anthropologists, because it is stated that there is no up-to-date information, that we only use certain scholars. No, you have anthropologists who say that they are sub-Saharan, have affinities, just like the brother did. Hold on, sorry, man. I said my word.
No, okay.
Okay. Here we go. All right, where we at, people? This is 331. All right, we are at the top of the line here, right? Are we saying, or is me, Apple Stolly, and other scholars saying that sub-Saharan relationships between sub-Saharan Africa and Kemet in every aspect should be studied and is scientific? Are we saying this? No, we are not the experts doing this. We are not publishing in these papers. None of us are, concerning anthropology of the Egyptians, iconography of the Egyptians. We are not doing none of those studies. I'm doing linguistic study. My studies are in linguistics, and I'm actually in a peer-reviewed journal, in linguistics. But when it comes to anthropology, right, of the Egyptians, we got to go to the expert. I'm not an anthropologist. Don't want to be. If we're talking about genetics, we got to go to the peer-reviewed data in genetics. I'm not trying to act like a choppy YouTube scholar here. I'm not going to waste your time. No, let's go. 331. These be acting like they scholars on YouTube and get no money. Scholars make a lot of, man, scholars get paid good money, man. Scholars get paid good money. I don't even get $20 donate. I am not a geneticist. If I was a geneticist, I would get paid like a geneticist. All right, now let's see. 331. Oh. Let's go to anthropology. Nancy Lavelle. All right, who is Nancy Lavelle? Y'all can look her up. She is top dog. She a top dog. This top of the line here, right? She top of the line, and just look her name up and see what pop up, right? This is a bioarchaeologist. So you want me to believe a YouTuber trying to explain shades of blackness, because blackness, according to Kim, according to peer-reviewed data, blackness does not equate just to being jet black.
Jet black,
blackness equate to being brown. You had depictions of things was brown that was considered black. The soil was considered jet black. The adjective modifier for the soil. The people it was used for an adjective modifier for people. They're not saying that they are jet black, you can't see them, shadowy. They saying that they are brown. The people who call themselves Kim, they are depicted as either reddish brown, brown. That is the actual color of Kim. That's the color of it. We don't say that. Peer reviewed data said that. All right. So we're getting rid of pseudos about to be eradicated. I told people that. So they on that last leg. Because when other communities start to unite, like me and this brother doing, powerful things can happen. Powerful things can happen. Now, I want people to pay attention to what this bioarchaeologist is saying, not Nechanet. I'm not a specialist and don't care for it. Now, this bioarchaeologist, up to date, this is what she said. There is now a sufficient body of evidence. See that? See what that said?
Yes.
There is now, NOW, a sufficient body of evidence from modern studies of skeletal remains to indicate that the ancient Egyptians, especially southern Egyptians, exhibited physical characteristics that are within the range of variation for ancient and modern indigenous peoples of the Sahara and tropical Africa. People will say, oh, man, you can't use skeletal remains. Yes, they can in anthropology. In anthropology, they can. That's what they do. She is a bioarchaeologist, meaning biological archaeologist. She digs up into the bones and all of that in people. So it says, now listen, this is what the brother Shaka was talking about, about characteristics, phenotype. No one is saying that everyone knows that sub-Saharans are phenotypically diverse among any other people. We already know this. But listen to this anthropologist, what she has to say. The distribution of population characteristics seems to follow a clinal pattern from south to north, which may be explained by natural selection as well as gene flow between neighboring populations. In general, the inhabitants of Upper Egypt and Nubia had the greatest biological affinity to people of the Sahara and more southerly areas. More southerly area, that's sub-Saharan Africa. Watch this, y'all. Just go here. It says, I want this to be made clear. Any interpretations of the biological affinities, this is what I mean by Dr. Job said we need a multidisciplinary approach on all levels, genetics, linguistics, history, archaeology, any level you can. See, Job said that. He was correct. So it says any interpretations of the biological affinities of the ancient Egyptians must be placed in the context. It must be placed, of hypotheses informed by what? Archaeological. See, archaeological is the iconography evidence. Archaeology is the evidence of bones. They dig up bones. Archaeology also is the study of iconography. Iconography, which you can pull up in archaeology, you lift up a finding and we look at the representation. That's part of archaeology. Archaeology is digging up those artifacts that has the iconography on it. See that? So archaeological, I don't know why but archaeological, linguistic, this the field I'm in. This the field we need more of this field, archaeological. But this the field I'm in, linguistic. Geographic, see that? Geographic data or other data. See that? Or other data. In such context, the physical anthropological evidence indicates that early Nile Valley populations can be identified as part of an African lineage, but exhibiting local variation. That's what I'm trying to tell folks. Now let's go back up though. She'll make it even more clear. There's one more little thing. All right. Let's see. All right, so she breaks it down right here. Biological concept, there's no races, and we already know that dynastic race. Let's see. There are two, I told people there are two opposing theories here. See that? She's breaking down the theories that they are arguing in science. The two opposing theories for the origins of dynastic Egyptians dominated scholarly debate for over a century. All right, this was a debate that went on in scholastic realm for centuries. Whether the ancient Egyptians were black Africans, historically referred to as Negroids, originating biologically and culturally in Sahara tropical Africa, right? Or whether they originated as a dynastic race in the Mediterranean or Western Asian regions, people historically categorized as white or Caucasoid. So y'all get this from an expert, y'all. Y'all go to the expert. When y'all go to the expert, y'all gonna see what the experts say.
Yeah. Yeah, brother. Yeah, I just want to say something right quick. I'm going to be brief. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Finish? Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear where you want. Did you finish with the quote, Neb? Did you finish with the quotes you wanted to go through?
Yeah. It's right. It's right here. I wanted people to focus on. There is now a sufficient body of evidence. Now, people are saying that there is no evidence, etc., etc.
Yeah, we're making stuff up. We are Afrocentric.
Yeah, so I'm just showing people that Europeans are doing this now. It's up to date. I hope people know that. It's okay to say that the Egyptians had sub-Saharan affinity. It's okay to say that the culture of Kemet was a sub-Saharan transplant, meaning that it was derived out of sub-Saharan Africa directly, right? The religion of Kemet is an indigenous African religion. It's okay to say these things now. It's okay. Now, it's okay to say that Kemet was, let's see here. It's okay to say, see, I showed y'all anthropology. So up-to-date information says it's okay. It's okay to do that. So it says Nehisu, New, Kemet. That's what they say. And these Nehisu are not slaves. Because they are Himnet. They are Himmet. They are not slaves. Egyptians are called Himmet too. They are called sun folks. The sun, people of the sun, people who are under that hot ass. They even back then they knew that where they are from is hot as all hell. They are even called the sun people, literally, not the volcano people. This is not a volcano. This is
volcano.
This is a mouth or sun, and it comes down like that, right? So this is Himnet. Nai means I translate as thieves.
These.
Nai thieves. Himnet. Or Himnet or whatever. We don't really know the pronunciation. We only can just give a guess of the pronunciation. Everyone will have different pronunciations. It has Nehisi, Nehisu, etc. See that? These are Nubians. These are Negroes. These are sub-Saharan Africans. These are Nubians. Nubians are sub-Saharan African, according to the Library of Congress, according to the United Nations, and other factors. There is no scientific reason for, there is no scientific data to scientifically prove these nomenclatures, just as there's no scientific proof of the term Egyptian. So nomenclatures are used. Kemet is only used with the word Egyptian as a nomenclature. So they use Egyptian with actually no scientific basis to use it. They are only nomenclature. Sub-Saharan Africa doesn't have a scientific evidence for it. We only use it because I only use it because peer-reviewed data use it, and that there is no scientific definition to prove that Sub-Saharan African even exists. Period. But I only use it because peer-reviewed data use it. That's what I say, Sub-Saharan African, right? So it says Nehisi right here. These Negroes, I didn't say that. And it says new of and Kemet. What do everybody say this mean? Now you're going to change this from Egypt now to riparian land? So this is what I'm saying, man. It's no excuse.
Yes, brother.
Right. Yeah, feel free, radio. Hotep send it.
Yes,
Hotep
I just
send
want to add something because I'm going to be very brief because I got I got to go eat soon. But I heard the show and this guy Wudja, he's either he either does not know what he's talking about or he is just flat out lying. And apparently he does not know history, because he does not know the etymology of the words that he's using. Because Negro, Negro is a Roman word that was first introduced by the Roman historian Pliny in the 1st century AD. And it referred to the people of West Africa. See, Negro is where you get the Niger River from. The Niger River derives from Negro, meaning the Negro River. So the term Negro never applied to the people south of Egypt. And also the word Nubian. The word Nubian was first mentioned by a Greek historian named Strabo, who applied it to that region south of Egypt. And he called the people Nube. But the word itself derives from the ancient Egyptian writings from the word nupt, which means gold. It doesn't mean black. So it's like Nehesi. And like during the time when the ancient Egyptians were using the word Nehesi, they never called their region Nubia. So it's like it's at a later time period when this word Nubia is applied to the region south of Egypt. So this guy, he got it all mixed up. Nothing he's saying is accurate. Because Negro, Negro applied to the people of West Africa, the Negro River. But Nubian, the Nubians cannot be confused with Negroes, and that is a mistake that the translator James Henry Breasted made.
I ain't mean to cut you off, brother. I don't mean to cut you off, but going down that rabbit hole, that's linguistic gymnastics, and you're not a linguist, so we're not going to go there. We're talking about
brother.
Hold on. We're talking about
history, brother.
Statements.
Can you have some respect? And
we can't get into battling nomenclature. Historical evidence of these nomenclatures are of course unscientific. We know this, so they are only nomenclatures. Let me give you an example of a nomenclature. When linguists use the word genetic, they don't use the word genetic.
I'm going to leave. Let us just let the brother finish.
No,
then you can add on. Yes, yeah.
He's taking an argument somewhere. He's taking it somewhere else that doesn't make sense. Brother, but go ahead, brother.
I'm talking history, brother. You stay in your lane. Let me speak my piece.
No. History you're not talking history. You're not talking history.
We don't need to argue, brothers. We can disagree. We don't need to argue. Just go ahead, brother.
Yes.
You're not talking
now. No, what
You're
I'm
not a
saying
historian,
is,
so you can't talk history.
I am a historian.
You're not a historian. Show me
Well,
that you have formal training in history.
Okay, out of respect, when you come on here,
I don't
let
understand.
somebody speak next time. Okay.
Okay. Radio
Okay,
One.
you
Just,
don't
just
even
go
know
ahead.
the
Go ahead.
etymology of the word historian.
Who cares?
Okay.
Look.
Well,
I'm just saying that
Let
why are we
just
arguing
let him speak though.
nomenclatures when we
Let
have
him
the
speak though.
evidence of directly? We don't need to argue nomenclatures when we can show a
You've been talking for
primary
almost an
inscription.
hour.
What's
Can
the
I
point
say
of
my
arguing
piece and
with
leave?
you being able to They are
Why don't you
nomenclatures.
just
They
let the
use
brother speak though?
nomenclatures. Who cares
brother,
about nomenclature? We know that they're not scientific.
Yeah, but
I was
let him.
just about to
The
end
word
what I had to
sub-Saharan
say.
African. When we use the word sub-Saharan African, right?
Brother,
we
you
know that
are not
they're
an authority
scientific.
to tell somebody what to say. Who the hell are you, man, to tell me I can't say what?
Because I can't address Jawo's comments.
I don't understand why you're arguing, brothers. Well, Nedeb, just with all fairness, you should let the brother speak.
Can you be
though,
quiet?
Okay, brother, go ahead, Radio One. Go ahead, set your piece.
Okay, now what I was saying was, okay, Negro, the word Negro cannot be applied to the people south of Egypt.
We know
like
this.
I said,
outdated. You're teaching outdated information.
Negro is applied to the Niger River. Okay, so brother, shut up. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. All right.
Well, it doesn't need to go left.
Like that.
It doesn't need to go left.
Look, we're gonna look up etymology. We're gonna look up a linguist.
But
Netherlands really, know what he's talking about.
We're
gonna check peer review data.
You should let him finish, though.
Let it out.
No, we
Mr. Know-it-all. Mr. Know-it-all. Okay.
No, I only go by peer review data. This is not my personal stuff. It's not. You can't put it on me. I'm not an expert. So we're gonna go with linguists say about the word Negro.
Brother, you've been talking all day. Can you show some respect and let somebody else speak?
Because you're talking wrong information.
Yeah, but we understand that you don't agree with him, but at least let him finish. You know what I'm saying? Well, you can refute it if you want after, but you should.
I ain't gonna refute nothing. Here you go right here. Now I want him to explain.
So hold up.
Hey, Apple Stolly,
Wait a minute, brother. What I'm saying.
Well, okay. Well,
you disagree with?
Well, let us finish.
What have I said you disagree with?
All right, yeah.
Let him finish.
I'm gonna let y'all finish. I'm gonna let him finish. But after he finished, I got peer review data waiting for you to share. As soon as he finished, we're gonna read it from a linguist. Go ahead, explain.
I said that you disagree with.
Okay. Well, go. Okay, go ahead. You can finish Radio One.
Yes. Okay. Now, like I was saying, okay, Wudja was wrong in saying that Nahesi, okay, means black. With Shaka already pointed out that Kemet actually meant black. Okay, and Nahesu, the Nahesu are more of a it's more based on an ethnicity rather than a skin color. Okay, because the ancient Egyptians, they didn't have a word for skin color for the foreigners. When they called themselves Kemet, they were referring to themselves.
You're wrong. They did have a skin color for the foreigners.
They didn't have a word, brother. Listen, man.
Have a word. They do.
You are very ignorant, brother.
You're wrong. They do.
Yeah.
They have a word.
You know so much, man.
Foreigners.
You have no respect for nobody.
Well, maybe you can show that later on. But let's let the brother finish.
I don't even like authority. I go to the peer review data. And
you have no right to tell somebody what they have to say.
Describe the physical.
Yeah, but
check yourself, man.
Let the brother finish though. We let you speak. Let him finish, even if you don't agree.
You're so full of pride.
Go ahead. It's okay. No, Radio One. He doesn't need to escalate.
Right.
I really wouldn't like you brothers to argue. I want to end this on a good note. So go ahead, Radio One.
Now I'm going to finish what I'm saying. Okay. Now, he kind of threw me off, but okay. Now, when
so you're saying that Nehisu is like more like a ethnic identity, like a some.
Yes.
That's what I recall. Yes.
Yes, and when like it doesn't mean black. Okay. Okay. And Wudja was wrong. Okay. And you sitting up here acting like you agree with Wudja. Okay,
I
but
don't agree. Hey, Radio One, I agree with you. I agree with Radio One. I agree with you. I'm just saying you can't argue nomenclatures. It ain't that serious, bro. We just can't argue nomenclatures when we got to stay to the subject, bro. He's trying to say that the Ujabu. I'm not taking the side. I'm on your side, actually. He's trying to say that the Nehisu. See, he's trying to argue these nomenclatures. See, that's what pseudos do. I don't want you to get. I'm on you because I like you. I love you as a brother, and I like what you represent, Radio One. I'm not your enemy. I'm just saying that if these guys offer these arguments, right, they got to provide peer-reviewed data, Radio One. We can't get into these wordplay with them. We have to go straight to the professionals, straight to the peer-reviewed data of Brother Radio One, and prove them wrong. Because we can't have time to play these nomenclature games with them. That's what they do. I don't want you to do that. I care about you. I love you as a brother. That's why I'm saying it. I'm not saying it for you. I'm just saying it. Let's stick directly to the subject. Your Ujabu is saying that the Nehisu are not Egyptians. He said that. He said that we are.
He said it meant black. He also said it meant black.
So he said that.
Yeah, but I'm going to end it off here. And we know that the ancient Greeks, the ancient Greek history, that is more my lane, and the ancient Greeks used the word melos or melanchros for black, and he called the Egyptians black more than he did the Ethiopians. He calls the Egyptians black more than anybody. So this ideal that Wujabu, this ideal that Wujabu is saying that that black doesn't apply to Egyptian is totally false.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because first of all, the writings itself is coming from the Egyptians, and when the ancient Greeks would refer to the people as black, he is referring to they apply it more to the Egyptians. And when he says that we African Americans want to be the Egyptians, but last time I checked, okay, African Americans and even the majority of sub-Saharan Africans has the same color as the Egyptians than they do the Nubians. Let's be honest.
We can pull up inscriptions. Can you break down the skin color according to iconography for us?
Yes, I mean.
All right, hold up. Let me share it. Can you share that with the brother? I want him to break it down.
Well,
because
actually,
most skin color. Yeah, most African Americans and a lot of sub-Saharan Africans are brown skinned like the Egyptians. So why are these guys saying? Well, why are they saying that why we trying to steal Egypt, and why don't we connect ourselves to Nubia when we look more like the Egyptians? It's like they should be saying, well, you look more like the Egyptian, so you should not apply yourself to Nubia because you look more like the Egyptian. So it's like what they're saying is the opposite. Because I mean, when it all comes down to it, the skin color, when it comes to skin color, like most African Americans and a lot of sub-Saharan Africans have the same skin color as the ancient Egyptians. And when you get into that North Africa area where those Arabs at, their skin color get lighter, like almost yellow.
Skin color means nothing. Skin color don't mean anything, bro.
Brothers, there's one thing I would like to do just to make sure you can see it before you leave. And I hope you have about 5 minutes. Now, I want to share first this video from the Louvre Museum. I'm going to put the title and the link in the chat. And this video is about 2 minutes long. Then I have another video that's like 1 minute long and another one that's probably about the same time. So that's the title of the video. Ancient Egyptians, Black Like You Rarely See, Tomb of Ini. So let me just share this one. There it is.
Greetings. Museo Egizio.
My bad. It's not the Louvre Museum. It's Museo Egizio. That's the one in Torino, if I'm not mistaken. But I will confirm. The video will confirm.
This is another intact tomb just like it says here, this is the tomb of Ini. Look at the color.
Now, hey, brother, brother Afro Style, you see those depictions right there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I went to the museum, they had the same phenotype, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see that very dark black phenotype.
Because it doesn't look reddish brown to me. It looks like dark. It doesn't look reddish brown to me.
No,
it looks
it's
like
not.
dark
Now,
brown to me.
hold
Yes.
up, though. I want you to show some more. Now, we see those. You see all those figures? They are very dark brown phenotype, which is the normal phenotype for Nubians as well depicted in actual inscriptions that's attested. That's what I'm saying. Is we don't have to get into the wordplay game, the nomenclature game. You see how you whipped out evidence right there. Now watch. No, carry on. Watch this.
Yeah, and this one is Museo Igizio. That's the one in Torino, or Turin, as we say in English. You know, people talk about the Turin papyrus. So that's in Italy, of course. So
was on the boat. Dark brown. Now, what I haven't found yet is a date. Now, the glyphs look beautiful. Clearly, Street 11 was out of Luxor.
I don't think I have a date.
Rosa, vertical.
I should share some of my artifacts as well. Yep.
See, that's not reddish brown. That's dark brown.
Yeah, that's not reddish brown.
So now,
but Apple Style reddish brown also is a color that's used by Nubians as well. The reddish brown color is used by Nubians and Egyptians alike. The red color. Now let's, I just want to just show this evidence. Can you show my screen?
Okay. Please, if you don't mind, let me just. I have just 2 more videos. They're very short.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very short. Now, next video is called. Now that was Turin in Italy. This one is Denmark. Black Egyptians in Denmark's museum, tomb of Wudja Hotep, 2000 BC. That's 4,000 years old. So let me share that one.
Greetings, Liptotech Museum in Denmark's capital.
Yep, Afros. They're the ones that is on the TT192. That's what I'm talking about now. Yes, I like that.
And I don't think anybody's gonna say, "Oh, this is a crown," or these are helmets.
Afros. Hey, can you save that? I would like you to save this for me right here. This is important here. Yeah.
Save it. You mean like take a screen print?
Yeah. When I show the TT192, it's the phenotype that they are looking at.
So you want me to make a screen capture and send it to you? Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I have it.
Yeah, Shaka. Yeah, brother. I gotta go. Brother Nethernail. No hard feelings, brother. Yeah.
Man, come on, I'm on your side, brother. Radio 1. You know that.
Radio 1. Is there any chance you bear with us for 2 minutes?
Okay.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Because the next one is the killer. The next one is the killer. Trust me.
Of Copenhagen, and once again, some dark brown Egyptians that you don't usually see. Let me first show you the reference. Bear with me. There it is, reference 1572. And this is a granary from the tomb of Wudja Hotep at Sediment, made of wood, circa 2152 2050 BC. This is once again 4,000 years old. And we can see how over time the color is fading away. We can see that here. We can see that on this guy's right arm. We can also see that on all of these individuals' heads, the black color has faded away.
All right. So now the last one is a killer. Now in the chat, the video you can see is entitled Blackest ancient Egyptians you ever seen. Tomb of Shemes. And I'm going to share the video. And that one is something.
Greetings. Interestingly enough, a few times we were told that this hairstyle was actually a wig, but here it doesn't look like a wig. But anyway,
Doesn't look like reddish brown. Looks like dark brown to me. Looks like black to me.
this is the Zio Egizio,
That's Turin,
and I will show you the reference.
Italy.
For all that you see here, all of this comes from a tomb. Look at the cane or staff. Those two have one. Look at those navigators. Look at their color.
And I'm sure your brother's seen those Nubian army, from the museum in Sudan. They have like the same complexion.
This is a tomb of Shemes, and it says 1908.
Okay, I don't need to go through all that. We're gonna see the artifact again.
Name dated, obtained, and both.
There it is. All right, that was just for the record.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, that goes to show, like they always say that Afrocentric images, where we distort the images and change the tint, to make it look darker. But what you just showed, it shows the opposite.
As a museum, and people can see there's a the what do you call it, the glass, like I don't have access to it. I cannot mess with it.
Yes.
But thank you very much, Radio One, for
yes, peace, brother.
Yeah,
and Nail, brother. I know you got a lot of knowledge, brother. But some of us, some of the other brothers come on here. We just come on here to speak our piece, man. And that's and it's just and all I'm saying is just have just be a little respectful to other brothers. I mean, because man, we none of us are better than anybody. So. As we come on here to speak our piece, man. All
right, bro. I understand that, bro. But when you're in error in front of me, I will correct you. It's up to you to get offended or not. You getting offended if I correct you, man? I don't care. I can care less. You don't know me personally. I'm just looking out for black people. I care about you like I care about every other black person. I love you like I love every other black person. You're the same black person as me. So when you're in error, I'm not trying to correct you to disrespect you. I'm just saying that for our linguistic ops, our enemies in this scholastic field, not my personal enemies, but they are my enemies far as in the scholastic field, right? So I'm going to prepare you. I'm not going to let you just talk, pseudoisms, in front of everybody like that, right? I got outdated nomenclatures. We don't do that. We don't have to do that. Now, you see this inscription right here? You see those figures that he had? He had those afros on those figures. Now, you see this? This is the TT192 tomb. See? This is TT90. I'm not in this for emotional anything. I'm in this because this is war. We are at war. And being that we are at war, I carry it like we are at war. I submit to journals. So I want you to do the same thing. I want you to have the same vigor. And when you speak about terms, I want you to consult the experts first, because you're not an expert. That's why I consult the experts first, because I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert in history, archaeology, genetics. So I have to consult
showing those sources take time, brother. So it's like we come on here to speak our minds, speak our piece, and and we let other people talk. Now what you did was long-winded, and when you say that I'm wrong, please address me on what I'm wrong on. Don't just say I'm wrong.
I did address you which you were wrong, but I don't want to get into that right now because it's nomenclatures. I don't discuss nomenclatures. You can, but I'm not going to do it. But anyway, you see this inscription?
Okay, brother. Yeah.
Hey, brother,
brother, you do you, brother.
Can
You
you
do you,
go
brother.
back
Okay.
to the
Radio One, thank you for coming for coming.
Peace out,
I
brother
always
Shaka.
appreciate you, brother Radio One.
Yes.
All right.
Peace out. All right.
Peace, brother. All right.
Hotel.
So yeah. Please continue, Ned.
Can you go back to the inscription with those people with I said, can you save that photo?
Yes, actually I'm going to send you the screen capture first. Neb, and I put Denmark museum, and I add it. Denmark. There it is. Now if I go on the chat, I share the link. Was it the last one? Or
it was the one where they had the afro. It looked like the last man.
Oh yeah, the one before.
Okay, yeah,
the one before.
As this last man we're looking at here.
Yes. So
in the TT 192 right here.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that here. Share. Oh yeah, but if I share, it's gonna unshare your screen. I cannot share two screens at the same time.
Yeah, I know. I just want to see yours kind of first.
All right, no problem. Yeah, no problem. So there's an ad. There it is.
Denmark's capital of Copenhagen. And once again, some.
So do you want me to pause it or?
Yep. So look at these folk afros, right? So we can't go by phenotype. Okay, that's what that's what they say. Now let's go. Can you share the TT 192? All right. So what we're looking at here, who knows Medu-Neter? Who knows the primary evidence? These represent regions. These represent populations of people, according to the Cometial themselves. This is tomb is found in TT 192, Theban tomb 192 that's found in Upper Kemet, southern Egypt, right? The one here is not phenotypically depicted no different than the phenotypes of Nubians. We see it for ourselves. The Nubian, the Egyptian is darker than the Nubian here. The Egyptian look more Negroid than actually the Nubian does. Do y'all know this is also a Nubian? His skin is much creamier, much lighter. So when we're dealing with phenotypes, we have an Egyptian, right? We have an Egyptian right here, the brother Afro Style, so the Egyptian with afros. This is an Egyptian. This ain't a Nubian. That's not a Nubian on the left. Oh, let me see. That's not a Nubian. This not a Nubian. Here. This not a Nubian here. This is for upper region of the entire upper region of Kemet. This Tashamahu, this doesn't just represent one nome. This represents the whole upper region is represented by a black man. The same phenotype is depicted for their neighbors, the Nubians. The Inusit people is important here. This is the people that Flinders Petrie was talking about. Flinders Petrie talked about it. It's never my knowledge. I'm only using peer-reviewed data. I'm not using what I think and all of that stuff. I'm going to go to peer-reviewed data. I'm not going to be up on a show making up histories to nomenclatures. It's silly. I don't do that type of stuff. I go directly to the primary evidence. Oh, you said this. Let me check the experts first. I will check the expert. Look, you see this here? This is the three pillars. What did they say the three pillars was? Here it says people of Nubia, according to the source I got this from. People of Nubia is, they say people of sub-Saharan Africa, Nubia, whatever, that nomenclature they use, I can care less. But it says people of Nubia. Nubia is, according to Library of Congress, in sub-Saharan Africa, right? We know that sub-Saharan Africa is not scientifically specific, but we only use it as a nomenclature. We are not over here arguing no goddamn nomenclatures. That's silly. We can look directly to the primary evidence and see directly this is a lower Egyptian. And his phenotype of hair is slightly different. This is a Upper Nubian as well, but it has a question mark, right? For this. This has a question mark for that. That's what the source I got it from has a question mark for this guy, but this is a Nubian. And look at his hair texture. Look at his hair texture. It goes back slick. This is a Upper Egyptian. This Upper Egyptian phenotype is just slightly variated than the phenotype that is seen in southern Egypt. This is my point. You see afros. Well, of course, he had lower hair right here, but this looked like more of one of them wig things they be wearing in Kemet in Nubia, or is their hair in twisties? Normally they had their hair in twisties in Nubia, and you see that here. But then you see the same hair structure and phenotype for the Upper Egyptian. This is an Egyptian. This is an Egyptian. This represents a whole region. That's why I say we don't have to use TT9 KV11. We don't got to even use that. It's right here. It's no excuse. You can't say that Remech mean for everybody. You can't say those things. It's right here. Tasha Mawu represents what? It wasn't a white man represented for Tasha Mawu, a Caucasian or Hittite. They Caucasians. Hittites have dark skin. They are Caucasians. Not Caucasians, but Europeans, considered Europeans. You have Amu, Asians, depicted as very dark. And I got inscriptions from museums where you had an Amu just as dark. He was considered an Amu from the Amu tribe. But here, this Egyptian represents the whole entire region, my dude. This is the whole region. It shows the region hieroglyph. People act like they're not trying to read the hieroglyphs. We're trying to play pity pat, and yet, but the hieroglyphs, the primary evidence says it is. Now, who is he most distinctly close to? Close to. You see these people right here, he's close to this one more than anything. Flinders Petrie said that the Pillar people were the prehistoric people, which is called the Anu. This is translated as the Anuti or Anutial Setial. Flinders Petrie translated this Pillar people as Anu. He said that they are the original aboriginals of Egypt, the Anu people. These people right here. See that? And it's depicted as a Nubian. They say this is a Nubian. The Southern Egyptian, same exact phenotype. Now, we about to go to something else real quick, a little bit more inscriptions. We have to see both phenotypes when we are comparing between phenotypes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, watch this. We're going to look. It don't matter. I don't care about the prisoners of war. You had Egyptians. We're looking at Egyptian that was tied up. We were just looking at the Egyptian that represented the whole region of Upper Kemet, according to primary evidence. So we are supposed to ignore that, or y'all young men is going to go and get credible in the field and begin to make new papers on this data. We ain't getting into the hocus pocus linguistic magical meta nature hocus pocus linguistic gymnastics over here. We just go straight to the documentation. Now you see here, these are Egyptians, right? It is said that they painted themselves red. It's ridiculous, right? Here you have red, brown, and you have dark brown for Egyptians. Y'all see this, right? For Egyptians. See that? Reddish brown. And in some cases, this may be even dark. It looked like they scraped their color off on purpose. Because
the artifact was obviously damaged. Not just this one, but yeah, this when he just fades away, he doesn't look like this. It's something happened, most likely. We even see the damage, like the one on the right that's seated in front of it. There's some damage on the actual wall itself, and all over his body is like yeah, most likely something happened. You know, they usually say it's accidental, just like the nose is, but yeah.
Well, I have evidence. I have data, evidence, and peer-reviewed data. I'm gonna share it on Kadika of them actually have Arabs painting over dark-skinned Egyptians. I have that. So,
well,
this don't look like because we have
when they do restoration. You know, with the cutted birds and stuff like that.
I'm not talking about restoration. I'm talking about I have a peer review that states that yes, they did damage and they were cutting. They were doing considerable malicious damage to the skin color of the Egyptian.
Yes.
I have the peer review.
That's a nice one. That's going to be
All
interesting.
Right, so I just want to let you know I'm gonna share it. My next Kadika, that's gonna be shared. So anyway, I'm not trying to give my opinions. I'm just saying, according to peer review, most of these tombs had damage, but also there were people that were maliciously doing it with intent taken away. You can know this looks like intent. I'm an artist too. This looks intent is too perfect cutting out someone's skin. Period. These people are much darker. I'm an artist, and you see that the dark-skinned brothers over here, that stuff is still intact. But then when they get to these people, for some reason, it's like all of them are metrically taken out. But I'm not going to create conspiracy theories here. I'm just saying that you have a brown-skinned, reddish brown, or what this guy is saying, reddish brown, which is my complexion, brown-skinned Kemetu, and then you have a dark-skinned Kemetu. Now, how do we discern? We don't discern by just looking at the Egyptians. This is how, right? Watch this. We look at Nubians. How was the Nubians depicted? This is why Job said that. This is why Job said that. With the comments he said. He said that they are depicted the same as other sub-Saharan Africans. So Ujabu said that this he gave some pseudo explanation of grouping, he make up things, etc., etc. But clearly we see that even the Nubians who are captured, Nubians, sub-Saharans who are captured, right, are depicted as just like the Egyptians. They are depicted black skin, and they are depicted with brown skin. And these are sub-Saharan Africans. They are always depicted, Egyptians are always depicted with black or reddish brown, etc. You even have Nubians depicted as yellow. I seen Nubians depicted as yellow, lighter skinned, yes. In inscriptions, I have it. Now let's continue. You see this? Another one again, right? Now this is the actual picture of the TT-192. When you look at it in real time, respect to the professor who did this, I got his information. And you clearly see, look at this skin. You can see the texture and everything, right? Now, this is a upper Egyptian, and this is a lower Egyptian. This says Tashama'u represents the entire region as a black man. They were warring with other Egyptians. That's why this is black Egyptian. This is an actual black Egyptian tied up. A black Egyptian was tied up because we were warring with, our ancestors was warring with other blacks. That's common. Like Europeans war with other Europeans. Now, this is slightly shaded reddish brown or red. We can say reddish color, etc. People can say what they want for that one. So you have two different color distinctions. In one distinction, you have a dark brownish color with woolly hair, which is normally the phenotype of sub-Saharan Africans. Normally, even though it is also in frequency in Hawaiian people, it is always a frequency of other people, but in high frequency, we have this phenotype. Now you see this is a slightly different phenotype because of the local variations of Lower Kemet. They will be kind of different, but they are still African. They will be different because of the Mediterranean and also parts of Asia having admixture. The mummies also had admixture as well. So these will be slightly a little bit kind of admixed according to their local populations. And also they are depicted reddish, brownish color. Right here. Now let's go to the Nubians. The Nubians again are depicted the same. They are depicted with reddish, brownish complexion, and the Nubians are depicted with jet black, the same as the Egyptians. The exact same. They chose the depictions of themselves. We have to look at both. We got to look at the depictions of Nubians and the depictions of Egyptians. Now this is Saharan rock. It even goes beyond. It goes beyond the Egyptians. It goes all the way to the Sahara, where you see figures that are drawn that's depicted black. This is before Kemet, right?
That is consistency.
See, this is before Kemet. These are Africans before Kemet depicting themselves as dark black and then a reddish brown, and then you have a black figure on top of a reddish. So these people knew what they were looking at. They would know they were looking at black ass Africans, and some of them were brown ass Africans. And they depicted it and colored it in the Sahara before Nubia, not before Nubia, sorry, but before Kemet.
Can you please show the code, because I saw it's Dr. Theophado Benga.
Definitely right.
So Dr. Obenga states the black African artist since prehistory, examining in particular the rock paintings of the Sahara and Southern Africa to the present day, uses the color black, brown, dark red, ochre, and yellow to represent the individuals of his community. The following references compare in particular Egyptian painting with that of the rest of the continent. On Journal Online.
See that? Oh, we got more. We got more. We got more. All right. Here goes some more, right? This is a pic I took at aiming at I think it's aiming. I ain't been in that museum in so long at Walt's Art Museum. But here again, he's trying to claim that this red brown is only exclusive. No, man, this depiction of brown and red, as Dr. Theophilo Benga stated, and as the Sahara rock art before the Egyptian rock art, this culture of Kemet came out of sub-Saharan elements, come out of the Sahara period, which concludes sub-Saharan, right? So it's you have the reddish brown and you have the black again. These are Nubians. These are Nubians, the same depictions as Egyptians. Again, you have Egyptians again depicted as black in this tomb, the tomb of KV11, tomb that Brother Afrostali was trying to show. But then you have here in Nubians, the Nubians depicted the same exact color with brown. This depiction is not just in Nubian, in Egyptian. This brownish color, you see this brownish color, and you got this yellow hair, yellowish type of hair, and you have this reddish brown complexion, not only just seen in Egyptians. This is seen also in Nubians. They depicted themselves exactly as other sub-Saharan Africans. All right, brother, that's that was about it. But we have evidence,
and that's important for our people to know. Let me just say, Alquan, this is the second time you come here, but you know the deal. You have to show your face, and your private messages, I don't read them, so you can save yourself the trouble. You're welcome. Just use your webcam. I don't know why you don't want to, but then you have the chat. But I'm glad you come every now and then. You diss me, you make videos dissing me, and but then you still come to my channel. So thank you, Ned for sharing what you did. I would say, Ned, try to be diplomatic with our brothers, because you bump heads often, and that's all I would say. Oh, you want to share something else?
Oh yeah, brother, go ahead. If you can screenshot that, so you can have it.
Yes, I will. Actually, I'm going to make my screen larger. Let's see. And now. And I'm going to put the Hesi of Kemet. That's it. I got it, brother. So, well, feel free to make your closing remarks, brother Netanyahu. I'm going to close out after.
Yeah, I just want to state that support Afro Style Show, man. Respect. Didn't mean to disrespect anybody. I'm not here for that. I got fire in my heart. I love my people, and I only do this so we can get stronger. That's it. You may see me always arguing. I'm a linguistic student. That's what we do in linguistics. We never agree. We always argue back and forth. That's part of scholarship. No need to be because in my face this wouldn't happen. I'm almost a professional fighter. I train in fighting still today. So come on, man. I don't do that. That's not what I do. If a brother is well studied in an area, and not only do I in school for linguistics, do y'all know that I'm in school also for history? I took psychology. I took all type of in school. So I don't it doesn't even matter. I'm not in this to be for other black men, trying to put them down. Black men, we got to learn how to accept when we're wrong. When I submit my paper to linguistic journals and they peer review and say you're wrong, that and that, I don't get you on an emotional rant. I say, all right, let me hear the brother, because they are already experts. They are in the field. They are studying in the field. If I'm not in the field, I'm not going to try to overthrow no expert. That's what Ujabu does, man. You know what I mean? They overthrow experts. Here you had Nai, Hime, Nahisi, New, Kimi. That says, what's your translation, brother?
Well, we've seen the word Henmemet, which is translated as, people or humanity. And but Nehisi, we've seen it plenty of time. That's what they translate as Nubians. And at one point, with the outdated bird translation, it was Negroes. So that's the region of around Nubia anyway. Those people are from this area that we now call Nubia. And then finally, we have of Kemet.
It said of Kemet. I mean, they say they're not slaves. They're Hemet. Egyptians are also Hemet. They actually call some people. We looked up the TLA. Another definition for Hemet is some people, right? The sun people. So the Egyptians were called the sun people, right? And also the Nubians, the Nehisu, are also called sun people. We're looking at the inscription now, direct evidence, and it also says they are from Kemet. They are Egyptians. That's what it says right there. All right, so I'm out. Peace. Thank you, Apple Style. Peace.
Thank you, brother. And so, brothers and sisters, I want to thank you for being there. I'm gonna close out. I'm a little bit tired. I worked all day, um, and um, in the morning, I translated in the field of medicine, and I was thinking, I hope that we have more brothers and sisters who will get in different fields, and the whole vibe, the setting, the respect that they have for one another, like camaraderie, and I wish we can have that more. No, I'm not coming back tonight, sister. That's my second live stream. I mean, I went to work morning and evening, and I picked up my daughter from school, and then I did the previous live stream addressing Sanetta, claiming that we cannot we can decipher the hieroglyphic. Um, so if he feels that way, then there's no point talking about ancient Egypt or Kemet. And then I did this live stream, which is already 3 hours and 25 minutes long. So once again, thank you, brother. Radio One. You're always welcome here, and you're always free to speak here. And I like the fact that when you left, you said no hard feelings. You know what I'm saying? And like Radio One said the last time, uh, some of you are new, but Radio One has been there for a while. Like there was a time, some months back, I used to live stream very often, and he's been there, has been making donations, So all the brothers and sisters who are there, who participated in the chat, those who made the donations. I forgot the name of the brother who gave me a donation earlier. Oh, but it was Radio One. It was Radio One. So remember, if you appreciate what I do, it will not hurt for you to. Oh, Mark as well. Yeah, Mark. Yes, thank you, the Pharisees. So I had two donations. It's only so far I can go back up here to the comments on the stream. Yeah, I think. And yeah, think about your brother if you appreciate the information that I put out. You know what I'm saying? Just $1, $2 here and there. It will make a difference in the long term because you see, we're dealing with some people. We've been sharing some weird stuff. So if you feel like I'm presenting some accurate information, then you feel free to show your appreciation. Also feel free to share the videos. Subscribe to my channel, subscribe on my Twitter as well. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell. And if you haven't seen the video Kemet and Ma'at, then by all means, it's less than an hour. I recommend that you watch it and that you share it, with your contacts, your family, your friends, whoever you think might be interested with this information. All right. So thank you very much, brothers and sisters. We're gonna get some clarity, definitely. So stay safe, stay healthy, and if I'm allowed to, stay safe, stay healthy, and if I'm allowed to by the Necheru, I will definitely holler back at you. Hotel.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving middle nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video Kemet and Ma'at before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody is interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Neture classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know like our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class. And all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medunetia class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/ma'atforever.